but your loving, it thrills me. I'll be there. Whatever tomorrow may hold, I know you're the one for me, child. And when we're together, my love, you give me hope and a way to cope, yeah, yeah. I'll be there. Ooh, I'll be there. And when I'm at home, I got no one to hold. Won't you tell me I'll be there? If my mind is reeling from the stress that I'm feeling, I need you. I'll be there. I just need your love, and I long for your touch. Won't you tell me I'll be there? Your loneliness kills me, but your loving, it thrills me. Won't you speak those words? I'll be there. Whatever tomorrow may hold, I know you're the one for me, child. And when we're together, my love, you give me hope and a way to cope, yeah. Whenever you're lonely, just pick up the phone and call me. I'll be there. Girl, let me show you, you're my one and only. Like I told you, I'll be there. 'Cause if you get blue, I got the loving for you. I'll show I'll be there. Your heartache, it kills me, but your loving, it thrills me. Yeah, I'll be there. Whatever tomorrow may hold, I know you're the one for me, child. And when we're together, my love, you give me hope and a way to cope, yeah, yeah. celebrate with my friends. It's White History Month. So be sure to tell everyone. There will always be different months to celebrate. This one's gonna be White History. It's White History Month, and I'm gonna celebrate America. It's White History Month, and I'm gonna scream it to everyone. There will always be different months to celebrate, but this month's gonna be White History.
I love White History Month. Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. Good morning. Hi, y'all. It's White History Month. And I think, what's today is Wednesday? Tomorrow is the last day of White History Month. It's been amazing this month. It really has. It gets better every year. We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on JustineLeePeterson.com/show. And if you're running around, you can podcast the show, of course, if you're not able to just sit and watch it, all right? But you can still listen to the show no matter where you are and what you're doing. Isn't that amazing? By going to the listen line on TalkStream Live at 605-615-4131. 605-615-4131. 615-4131. And to donate and have your comments read out loud, go to buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. Buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk or Bond JLP Cash App. Bond JLP Cash App. And I want to hear your White History moments, your people you admire that made America or contributed, participated in making America amazing. Manhood Hour is coming up in the third hour today. Manhood Hour. It is Wednesday. And my brand new biblical question, I forgot almost, my brand new biblical question, are you living your own life? And what does it mean to live your own life? This question is so interesting, it's not even funny. Are you living your own life? And what does it mean to live your own life? Amazing, huh? A spiritual battle, a warfare between good and evil, right versus wrong. And when you get to know yourself, start to pay attention to you, the spiritual battle will become clear that there is truly a battle happening, and it's happening within each individual. It's not happening outside of the individual. It's happening inside. And most people don't know it. They think it's coming from the outside. It's crazy how that is, too. And it's crazy that we as human beings, and I say we because every human being, there's not one that's exempt from this, can be asleep and don't even know it. Can be asleep and have no idea. Can you imagine living a whole life, your whole life asleep, and you're living in misery? Because every sleeping person is in misery and don't know it. And in that slumber position, you really think two things for sure. You think someone else is causing, someone else or something else is causing problems for you, and you think you have problems. That's what's so crazy. Imagine there is no such thing as problems. No such thing as problems. Just think about that. There are no problems. The idea, the concept of problems is an illusion. Grandpa tell me about the good old days. You really don't have a problem, but you spend a lifetime because you think you do. You're trying to solve problems, and you never get them resolved. Have you noticed that? You never solve problems. You got to return to love because no human being has love. Zero love. There's no such thing as human love. It does not exist. I know you don't want to believe it, but as soon as you discover all this, the freer you will become. You will stop fighting one another. You will stop fighting with your husband or your wife. You will stop trying to belong. It's amazing, too, that we can spend a lifetime unconscious trying to belong. Belong to a family. Everybody says, family is so important. I fight to be a part of my family. I fight for the family. And then they're fighting in the family because they're trying to belong to a family. They're trying to belong to a group. I have a bunch of friends, they say. And they fight with the friends, and they fight to stay in the friend zone, for lack of a better word. I don't know what that means, but okay. But it's amazing. Why don't you give up the fight? Who are you fighting for? Why are you fighting? What would happen if you just gave up? You give up the fight. All my life, I had to fight. I love Hoppo. I love me some Hoppo. But I ain't gonna take it no more. Color purple. Color purple. Amazing. Stop fighting. If you got to fight for anything, something is wrong with you. I believe we told you about this Cincinnati brawl, or someone called the show. Did we play that yesterday? Yeah, okay.
We did.
All right. Well, there's a little more update about that. This is, just think about this. And in case you don't believe me that there is no love in human beings, human nature is evil. And in human nature, there is no love. NBC News is reporting that police are investigating a violent altercation involving multiple people in downtown Cincinnati on Saturday night after a video of the brawl went viral on social media. 5 people faces charges. Watch this from Fox News.
Hi, Martha. Well, we just got disturbing new video with a different angle of this vicious attack that unfolded at 3 a.m. on Saturday in Cincinnati. It appears to show a verbal confrontation. Then you see a white man in a white shirt slap a black man in a red shirt. Punches are then thrown and the brawl ensues. The white man is punched and kicked repeatedly by black men and women. This new video also shows 2 other white men getting beat up. Horrifically, another video shows a woman being knocked unconscious, blood on her face after she was sucker punched by a man. Incredibly difficult to watch. Police have not said how or why this brawl started. Cincinnati's police chief says alcohol consumption played a significant role, characterizing it as a sudden dispute following a verbal altercation. Astoundingly, there were 100 people there, but only one person called 911.
Amazing, huh? Isn't that animal nature like? Where's the love in that? Where's the love in that? All human beings, all of us, are in an animal state when we're asleep. We think and act like animals. You're looking at human beings fighting other human beings. Think about that. Just think about that. And this is why people think that, I don't know if all people think, but most do for sure, that they and animals are the same. They believe that they're an animal and they can relate to the animal more so than another human being. Now I hear, and I don't know the whole story yet, but something like you need to get a rabbit for a pet because dogs and cats destroy the environment. Something like that. Because they go out on the lawn and they use the bathroom on the lawn and they kill the grass and they go out and kill the plants and things like that. So there's recommended something like, I don't know the whole story, right? That you have a pet a rabbit as a pet rather than a dog. So that's telling me they're about to sell rabbit food. They're about to have rabbit doctors because human beings going to go and get a bunch of rabbits as pets. Here's the update. Oh no, here's a little bit more. The Department of Justice suggested hate crime charges could be filed, and J.D. Vance shared a comment. Watch this.
The Trump administration's Department of Justice suggesting hate crime charges could be filed. Quote, our federal hate crimes laws apply to all Americans. We at Civil Rights at DOJ will monitor closely how local authorities handle this attack. Vice President J.D. Vance, who's from Ohio, reacting.
We have got to make great American cities safe again for families and children, and the only way to destroy that street violence is to take the thugs who engage in that violence and throw their asses in prison.
Martha, 5 people have been charged. More are expected, but so far they have announced 0 arrests. So we'll see. We'll get an update as we get it.
And that's why another reason besides having no love and being in an animal state, especially with the blacks, they don't worry about being locked up anymore. They're black. They can get away with it. And since they have no self-control, violence, everything wicked is out of control. Amazing, huh? They took away the police and they replaced it with violence. And it is bad because human nature has no self-control. J.D. Vance said, lock their A's up. White people are getting sick of this. Really, they're just sick of the violence. They're just sick of it. They're trying to have a first-class life, and they got to fight the blacks all the way now in every area of life. That's not what they want. Here's a little update on 2 of the 5 people charged. This is from Fox 19.
We now know the names of 2 people arrested in connection to that brawl downtown Cincinnati over the weekend. Sources confirm with Fox 19 now that Montaneas Merriweather and DeKyra Vernon are facing charges in connection to that brawl. Both have been booked into the Hamilton County Jail, but their charges have not yet been listed. However, Cincinnati's FOP president took to Facebook within the last half hour saying Merriweather charged on July 10th on receiving stolen property, weapons under disability, improper transportation of a firearm. The president claims Merriweather was released on a $4,000 bond at 10%. So if you do the math there, he only had to post $400 to bond out.
Wow.
But the president says he should have never been released and he should have been locked up.
This is so interesting to me, folks. It really is. In that. And instead of trying to understand what I'm about to say, there are black people get mad at you for reporting it. But what is it? And I know the question I am asking, I know the answer already. But for you, like, smoke on it. What is it in the blacks that causes them to be so violent? Listen to what they said about Merriweather, whatever they got in, the black guy right there. But what is it that causes them to be so violent? And then what is it with the other blacks that they may not be out there being as violent, but they defend blacks being violent? Or you're just racist for reporting this. What is that? And I remember in Africa, when this was happening in South Africa, and it still is happening, by the way, not that it's in it, we report on this same kind of stuff. Just this mob, animal-like mentality where the blacks were going around in Africa and attacking white people in mobs of violence and burning buildings and stealing. And this is happening around the world with the blacks. How come no one want to know, well, what is it? And when they do bring it up, they blame it on racism, which doesn't exist. They blame it on the white man. And the only thing that the white man is trying to do is have a first-class life. Get educated, because they try to get the best education because they think they can make the best money, most money, right? And then they build everything in a first-class like way. Nice first-class communities, meaning where they live. Nice first-class travel. And they love going camping. White people love going camping. They love hiking. And they love those things. Really. When they about to leave the house to go camping, you think they're going to a Europe trip or something. And they love camping. They love camping so much they made camping trailers, like mobile home things. And you just travel around the country camping. But now they got to be concerned about their lives because the blacks are roaming the earth, seeing who they can devour, who they can destroy. What happened? I know what happened, but I'm asking you. I also know prior to the so-called civil rights movement, blacks were not this way. I'm sure you could have found some evil blacks, because evil has always been around, right? But they were not out of control like this. I don't care what anyone tell you, I was there. And it wasn't this way. Not that blacks didn't get angry like everyone does. Sometimes they fight in the family or whatever. But they were like rabid dogs, roaming the earth like wild animals to see who they can just pounce on. And they love it. And they all join in. Nobody say, hey, stop it, stop it, stop it. They all join in. And now they love to stomp on people. And where did that come from? They knocked down, according to the report, that poor lady out. And the crime is through the roof. It's so bad in white areas now that the neighborhoods, because they've taken away the police and they're taking away bail bonds, they don't lock the black criminals up, and the news media cover it up for them. Why is it that you are assisting people in their hatred against you? Why do you cover it up for them? Over in San Bernardino, the San Fernando Valley. That last soundbite was from Fox 19, by the way. In the San Fernando Valley, for those who don't know, it at one time was like lily white because the blacks ran the whites out of the inner cities of Los Angeles, so they went to the valleys and they created another white area, and it was lily white, beautiful. You drive down through that, you think you in Beverly Hills, or even better. That's changing too, because you listen to the Black Lives Matter people, and you decided that Black Lives Matter said, take away the police, don't defund the police. And in essence, they were saying, I don't know if they said this out loud, we want to commit crime. We want to be able to go in your neighborhood, rob, steal, and kill, and get away with it. Get rid of the bail bond. Stop. Don't lock us up, so we don't have to be afraid of being punished for the crime. And you said, okay. And you said, okay. KTLA is reporting that a group of neighborhoods in the San Fernando Valley are choosing to use technology to fight back against recent stream of break-ins. A recent stream of break-ins. Watch this from KTLA 5.
Residents are fighting back after almost daily burglaries or burglary attempts in neighborhoods across the San Fernando Valley.
Yeah, those same neighbors are banding together now, and they're using technology to try and catch the thieves.
The homeowner with whom we spoke, Matt, has a very sophisticated security system, including a fence, motion detectors, and cameras, and still his home was targeted by thieves. This week, there have been 2 more burglary attempts within a couple of blocks of his Studio City home. The Neighborhood Watch believes this Mercedes, with its license plate covered by a towel, may have been involved in at least one of the attacks, if not others. And these concerns mirror those in Encino, where there have been a rash of burglaries, robberies, and even the murder of American Idol executive Robin Kay and her husband. Matt from Studio City says the thieves seem to follow a very specific formula.
They will send one person to the door to ring the doorbell. And then if no one's home, then they will send their crew in. If someone rings the doorbell and said, oh, we're selling tree services or that kind of thing, they'll just leave. Then if that crew will come in, they'll easily break the back windows. Then they'll climb to the second floor, usually the master bedroom, looking for jewelry, guns, money.
Amazing, huh? Absolutely amazing. And you heard the reporter said this guy had cameras, fences, and security something else. And they're still breaking in. Remember we have reported in South Africa that white people that left the inner cities and gave it to the blacks, they moved out on the farm land, and the blacks start going out there, robbing and stealing them from them along the highways, and the whites end up putting up, they hired bodyguards to watch their homes. That didn't work. They put up fences, electric fences around the home. That didn't work. They put up security cameras and alarms and everything, and that didn't work. Running from the blacks. Why, blacks? Why don't you? And we love the blacks. And I'm trying to figure this out. This is not normal. You were not this way prior to the civil rights movement. You had common sense. A few of the residents tried to pursue a getaway vehicle in Woodland Hill. Watch this.
Share so many burglaries in Encino, Studio City, and here in Woodland Hills. Neighbors tell us they are banding together, doing whatever they can to protect themselves. A burglar struggling to escape with a 75-pound safe. The victim returned to find her Woodland Hills home ransacked.
They tore apart my office completely, so they got cash they were looking for.
It was a wild getaway Sunday night. The suspects in a black Mercedes sedan with the license plate covered. Neighbors jumped in their cars to chase the thieves near Canoga Avenue and Dumetz. The car crashed and the burglars got away. And after a rash of San Fernando Valley burglaries, residents knew exactly what was happening.
It was terribly scary, and as soon as I saw that the front car, the black car, had no license plates, I knew immediately it had been a burglary.
It now appears the same car, also with the license plate concealed, was used in a burglary attempt in Studio City just last week. Neighbors are now on patrol. Hundreds signed up to alert any suspicious behavior. 2 weeks ago, LAPD pledged to step up patrols after American Idol executive Robin Kay and her husband, Thomas DeLuca, were murdered by an intruder.
Of course, I got a pit bull, cameras, and a shotgun, so, there's a difference there, but they don't know that.
LA Mayor Karen Bass has promised a Zoom meeting with any concerned residents in Encino for later this week. As for those stepped-up LAPD patrol cars, we've been looking around tonight. We have not seen one in this neighborhood.
Amazing, huh? Loser Karen Bass, a black female mayor of the city. She's not going to do anything. Nothing. What a mess, huh? And you see the people, according to the report, running out of the house with a safe, and they don't care. Because even if they were caught, they got to get away with it. No bail bonds. You don't put blacks in jail anymore. And again, San Fernando Valley, Woodland Hill, all those areas, white. And one thing y'all don't know about, the police, they may show up, but they always show up after the victims leave, after the criminals leave. It's like they'll wait around the corner until the criminal leave, and then they show up. And they pretend that they're doing something about it. You don't need no dog to sniff the house. You already know you've been robbed. And the police always come after they are gone. Remember when the police were there before the criminal leave? Now the police shows up after. It never fails. After the criminal leave. All the time. It's like they're like, okay, let us know when they're gone, and we'll stop by. I want my country back. But I know it's not coming back. This is full-fledged South Africa now. And you can bank on this. You know how there's a genocide in South Africa on the whites by the blacks? America? It's happening right here, right now. And it's going to get worse. You are not allowed to be white. You're not allowed to have a nice neighborhood to live in. You're not allowed to own anything. You're not allowed to have a life. What a sad way to live, huh? But it's due to fear. You defunded the police. And you vote for people who are in favor of defunding the police so that you can suffer even more so. 888-7753-773. 888-77-JESSE. When I come back, your phone calls and super chats. Back in a moment. Now, I totally disagree with the way things are going, but you can't be angry because that's what the enemy wants. He wants to control you. They do things to make you mad so they can control you. It's like being married. And the wife would do things to make you mad, or she'll do things to make you feel good. And men do that to women too when they want something from the woman, especially sex. They'll make her feel good or they'll make her angry. And the woman's gonna have to say, you don't wanna be angry. You wanna speak up, you wanna disagree with what's going on, it's wrong, but do not be angry. Then you won't have fear, you won't have doubt, you won't have worries, you'll be able to see, but you gotta stay away from anger. That's why you must forgive your mothers and your fathers so that you can overcome the spirit of anger. It's a spirit and it's wicked. Nothing good in anger because it has no love, folks. You need love to defeat evil. And love is not a weakness. It's a strength. It's from God. It's His nature. Eight 888-7753-773. Happy White History Month. The brand new episode of The Fallen State this Friday. If the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise. I had a fun discussion with Steve Lee. And Steve is a comedian, hip-hop artist, and the host of the Steve B. Weeby Show. Watch this.
Next time on The Fallen State.
Were you a mama's boy?
How do you know this stuff? He's almost like partially a psychic. He did the Fu Manchu. Oh.
You're like, oh, you want rice?
Oh my God. Can we even put this on YouTube? You're making me sweat, Jesse. I heard legions of demonic voices. Jesus! Everything cleared.
Yeah. Wu-Tang Clan or T-Tribe Call Quest.
100% the Wang Tang Clan. Oh.
TheFallenState.tv. And you can become a member of TheFallenState.tv and support us on right there on the YouTube channel, TheFallenState.tv or locals.com. And check out our fundraiser drive. It is happening. You are helping us to get closer and closer to the $50,000 mark. We're almost there. Go to rebuildingtheman.com, rebuildingtheman.com, or call 800-411-BOND. And someone's going to get the phone in a minute. Be patient out there. 800-411-2663 to make a donation. rebuildingtheman.com/donate or JesseLeePeterson.shop. JesseLeePeterson.shop. Let's see. I think you can mail it in there too. P.O. Box 35090, LA, California 90035. Make the check of money out to Barn. It's tax deductible. P.O. Box 35090, LA, California 90035. Or hit that bar there. QR code to support it. All right? QR code. Nice. And then that local where you can support the Fallen State is JesseLeePeterson.locals.com. Amazing. 888-7753-773. Let me go to Cincinnati and talk to Michael. Michael, you are on the air. Oh, I'm sorry.
Cincinnati?
Not Cincinnati, California. My bad.
Yes, California.
Yeah,
Lancaster, California.
You're on
So,
the air.
yeah, thanks for taking my call, Jesse.
Okay.
I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of shook by what I've seen, but at the same time, we don't know everything about the case because everything hasn't
What case is that?
come out. Well, about how it led up to the brawl.
Oh, you were
What led
referring
up to
to
the brawl?
the soundbite we played from Cincinnati?
Yes,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
referring to the brawl. Yes.
And
And we
so
don't know everything.
Why are you shaken by it?
Well, I'm shaken by it because of your rhetoric. You know,
Meaning
you
what?
might be fueling, one of these nutbags out here to actually do some harm to black people, innocent black people who had nothing to do with this. And you're saying that it was a race thing and stuff like that. And I don't think it was a race thing because the people were fighting too. So everything hasn't come out, but what you're saying, what you're trying to, allude to is that, oh, this was some big race thing and, it was a bunch of black people just attacking white people for no reason. And it was a hate crime. Now, how could you make those claims and you don't even have all the facts?
Is there any reason at all?
At home, Jesse, this is what you want to do. And you want to fuel somebody nutbag out there to shoot another store up in Buffalo, like they did in Buffalo, and like they did in the Charleston Church out there in North Carolina, right?
First of all, you're making claims that I didn't say. I didn't say.
No.
I did not say. I did not. Michael.
This is the way you talk.
Mike, I'm gonna let you go if you don't let me speak. If you interrupt my speech.
Go ahead, Jesse. But this is the way you talk, though.
I didn't say any of those things. Those are your words, not mine. I said this is evil, and my question is, how did the blacks become so evil that they act like animals? They did the same thing and are doing the same thing
how
to
can
the
white people act like animals?
Michael,
how can white people act like animals because they were fighting too? Did you see the tape? Did you see the tape?
I'm going to let you go, man.
Did you see the tape?
You're interrupted. I'm going to let you go, all right?
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Go ahead, what?
Did you see the tape?
Are you going to interrupt?
Go ahead, Jesse.
My question is, and maybe you can answer that. Why is it, and all that stuff you said that I said, I never said that. I didn't insinuate that. I'm going to let you go, man. I'm going to let him go. Because he's speaking over, he said stuff I did not say. And then he's speaking over me so you don't hear that I did not say it. And you heard me tell the guy, come down, Michael, come down. And you won't do it. I can't speak like that. My thing is, what happened to the blacks that they became so evil that all around the world they're very violent? And why isn't there a primary focus on that? So, because if you can point out what happened, there will be blacks who will overcome this because they'll start to realize that it had nothing to do with white people, nothing to do with slavery, nothing to do with anything, but their hearts are wicked. They have become angry, and the angry was not caused by white people. It was caused in the home by their mothers and fathers who do not protect them from the mothers, and fathers who will not protect them. They're angry at their mothers. They got that same evil spirit that she has. And then they go out and the other haters, the liberal whites and the blacks, tell them it's the white man. Blame somebody else for what you're feeling and thinking on the inside. Blame someone else when you're going out and in mobs like animals, wild animals, and attacking people. I don't know what happened in Cincinnati, but I know what I saw is evil. You had a bunch of people fighting with two people. Bunch of blacks, allegedly, fighting with two whites, allegedly. A male and a female. How is that necessary? Let's say, and I don't know what happened, the white man and a black man had a fight at the bar, whatever they were doing. They were drunk, or they had a fight. What does that have to do with the mob jumping in? What does that have to do with the mob knocking out one white lady? What does that have to do with it? Why is that necessary? And I spoke earlier about there are blacks who are willing to defend this. And Michael was an example of that. He's defending it. You can't defend this, even if it was the other way around. Let's say a mob of white people attack two black people, male and a female, or just two male or two female. Where is the justification for that? When will you stop supporting evil within yourself and within others? Christ said, and I repeat, an angry person is an evil person, a murderer. And you cannot trust an angry person. Nick, I want to play those sound bites one more time because this is so South Africa, I don't even know what to say about it. I remember when the blacks in America were going around and knocking out white people and laughing about it on camera. We did a man on the street the other day. At some point, you're going to see it. And we celebrated White History Month, so I was asking for, and for some reason, there were a lot of blacks in that area that day. I asked them about white people. I mean, celebrated white history? No. No way. Jose. I want to play this soundbite for you again so you can, I really want you to see this. These are human beings acting like animals. I want you to look at the joy that they get from the thrill of stomping on this man, this white guy, knocking this white woman out, attacking like animals, mob, like wild dogs. And the reason I think of wild dogs because down in Alabama when I was growing up, there were wild dogs around, wild animals around. And when they attack each other, they would be slobbering at the mouth, foaming at the mouth. That reminds me of that. And so that's why I use that thing. I want you to see this, and I want you to see the thrill in these blacks in what they're doing to these people. Here it's from the NBC News, and the police are investigating this violent altercation. Watch this from Fox News.
Hi, Martha. Well, we just got disturbing new video with a different angle of this vicious attack that unfolded at 3 a.m. on Saturday in Cincinnati. It appears to show a verbal confrontation. Then you see a white man in a white shirt slap a black man in a red shirt. Punches are then thrown and the brawl ensues. The white man is punched and kicked repeatedly by black men and women. This new video also shows two other white men getting beat up. Horrifically, another video shows a woman being knocked unconscious unconscious, blood on her face after she was sucker punched by a man. Incredibly difficult to watch. Police have not said how or why this brawl started. Cincinnati's police chief says alcohol consumption played a significant role, characterizing it as a sudden dispute following a verbal altercation. Astoundingly, there were 100 people there, but only one person called 911.
So how can you call me and justify that? How can you say, well, you were there, you know, and maybe this and maybe that? You never say this about white people attack black people. How can you justify that? I don't care what has happened. This is happening right now. And let's say, for the sake of conversation, and I don't know, I went there. Let's say that the white man and this one black man appeared that they were fighting. What did it have to do with the rest of the blacks standing around there or having in the same area? What did it have to do with them? Why were they stomping and beating on the guy? He wasn't fighting with them, it appears. Instead of stopping it, why did they have to get involved and so many blacks jump on one white man and a white woman? Why? What happened to those good old days when the other blacks would have said, no, I'm not going to get involved in that mess. Stop it. They all jumped in. And they got a thrill from it. That's all it is evil thrill. If ever we needed you, Lord, we needed that. And to call him Michael, or whatever his name was, Charles, Michael, I believe, he's trying to justify it. This is just plain old wrong. It's evil. Poor white people. And when I say poor white people, not that I feel sorry for the whites, because they're allowing this to happen. They're afraid of the blacks. And the worst thing you could have in life is fear. Fear is your enemy and not your friend. Fear is your enemy. And every angry person has fear. You can bank on that. Interfere. I'm not talking about the fear of these mob mentality kind of folks. That you should be aware of that and watch that. But you have interfere within. Super chat. Super chat.
Super chats.
Over on Gab, Jay Rackham answers.
Rackham
Smack'em.
Hey, Jay.
Answers the biblical question.
Are you living your own life? And what does it mean to live your own life?
Living my own life means the ability not to let the people who hate me and or are bad for me to have any power over the way I live. So far, that strategy is working and is actually getting better. This is Jay Rackham.
Amazing.
On Gab.
You got a Gab. Stay with it, Jay. And I'll put my little 2 cents in on Sunday at the fellowship. If the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise, stay with it.
Shout out to yesterday's top contributors on the D Live crew: Games for Rec, Elijah, Greenwall, Groovy Monkey, Cactus Eater Bear, Potleaf, Kid Combo 1, Army Ann. Thanks as always for the support.
Thank y'all. I appreciate it. Thanks for the support.
Sergio answering the biblical question.
What are you living your own life? And what does it mean to live your own life?
There is no me to have a life. Shout out to the contributors, Hake, Nick, and Derrick. Celebration hands and smile.
Contributors. Amazing. Thank you. I'll put my 2 cents in on Sunday. Thank you.
Sky Daddy says, hey, Jesse, it's Charles from Cincinnati. Keep up the well health. Strong arm emoji. I was doing street interviews on why people hate their moms right before this brawl all happened. So much darkness in their hearts. Seek first, everyone. praying hands and finger up.
Amazing. Thank you. You're absolutely right, man. Seek first the kingdom of God, because this is hell on earth, inside of human beings. Amazing. Thank you.
Identity Christ is bought a coffee on buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. White History Month shout out to the Basque people of the Pyrenees Mountains. Pardon me if I'm butchering the name. One of the first white Europeans to contribute to the economy and settlement of the American West. Renowned for their seafaring skills and expertise of the ocean, the Basques built, maintained, and helped navigate Columbus ships during his expedition. Christopher Columbus, they played a significant role in finding and building America, including providing financial aid, military weaponry, fighting alongside the American Revolutionary War. History unbeknownst to most, the Basque people deserve their flowers.
They're white?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
I guess.
A white history moment. Thank you.
That's right.
Amazing.
Thanks for the contribution.
Yeah. Nice. White history moment. Thank you.
Anthony G.
I never heard of the Bass.
I feel like I might have. I feel like Anchor Baby would know, but I don't know. I just picture him as knowing this stuff.
He's from Europe. I mean, from,
right.
Where is he?
He's partly from Europe.
Canada.
I know, but he has ancestry from that way.
But he wouldn't know about the Bass. You know about the Bass?
No, he's shaking his head.
The what?
The Basque. Basque.
Yeah.
See?
You know
I
about
knew
that?
it.
You mean that like beast?
Yes. I'm just saying yes.
Or the place.
The people.
White Europeans of the Pyrenees Mountains or Pyrenees Mountains. Anyway.
But thanks for the white history moment.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Thank you.
Indeed. Anthony G90 says at this point, we need RoboCop for all this crime. You ever seen that movie?
Yeah.
80s?
Yeah.
Man, I just saw it recently for the first time.
Yeah.
He was so good.
Yeah, it was a very good movie.
Chris, welcome,
Thank
JLP show member. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Over there, faithful viewer. Pastor Chatelet on pilled.net, 111 gold pills. Michael, a beta male, whining, complaining, and blaming. He just like his mama, he says.
I don't know how anyone can justify that. I don't care. You have to have a hateful heart to do that. That is mind-blowing. Even if, God forbid, I don't like doing if, but for sake of conversation, if it was a mob of white people like that doing that to two black people, it would be evil. It wouldn't make sense. I mean, it makes sense because it's evil, but thank you.
Freddie T87, yo, Jesse and crew, thanks for taking the time daily to help people overcome. Trying to keep it pithy. My contribution for White History Month, Rod Temperton, member of the great Heat Wave, an accomplished songwriter who wrote the hits Always and Forever, Boogie Nights, The Groove Line, also wrote Michael Jackson's Thriller and Rock With You. Shout out.
Why, here's a moment. Thank you.
Cool.
Oh, amazing. July just feels white. Thank you for the contribution.
And Roy, did you see the first names of two of the people charged in the Cincinnati beatdown of the white couple? Who did Jesse say he wouldn't hire? I rest my case. People with black sounding names.
I rest my case. Amazing.
Terrible. And thank you guys. I do believe that may. Thor Mode 9 says, Happy White History Month. I missed if Jesse ended up giving the Yay shirt, the shirt off his back after Bond the other week. The American flag shirt.
Oh no, he went out of town. So when he come back,
nice.
He got to another tour or something.
And thank you guys. That's all for now.
Oh, amazing! Thank you. I gotta take a break for 2 more hours to go. The hate news, not the fake news, and I'll be back in a moment. 888-77 Jesse. Back in a moment. I recommend you get a copy of my book, From Rage to Responsibility. I write about how the spirit of anger was taken away from me 29 years ago. I forgave my mother who tried to turn me away from my father, and I returned to my father, and through him, my father on earth, and through him I was able to return to God. No man or woman can return to God unless you go through the Son. And men are sons of God. There may be weak, pathetic examples of it, but it's the spiritual order of life. God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman and woman over children. So get from race to responsibility. I write about that. Go to my website, rebuildingtheman.com for an autographed copy or call 800-411-BOND and donate to my nonprofit, Bond, the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny. We are rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man.
Some serious mess going on in the world. Those the baby turtles. Baby turtles are can't see or are not being guided properly because of man-made lights. And there was some tsunami waves after. Did you hear about the 8.8 magnitude earthquake off the coast of Kamchatka or wherever that place is in beautiful Russia, the fatherland? Or the mother, is it the motherland or the fatherland? I think Germany's the fatherland because they're manly. Anyway, and then New York City mass shooting, a little update on that. And by the way, Emil Bove got confirmed. He's instantly in like my top 100 favorite Jewish people. He's a Trump nominee for a judgeship, and the Senate confirmed him, I believe. So he's going to be in there for a lifetime appointment, and I hope he lives a long, healthy, godly life. This is the end of hour one of the JLP Peterson Show. It is Wednesday, July 30th. Happy White History Month, AD 2025. There is one line open. You can call in right now, even during Hake News, Not Fake News, to get on hold, to get on air with JLP. Some great stuff coming up. Great content coming up on the JLP Peterson Show in the next couple of hours. All right, so stay tuned. But Commie Nonsense Network, CNN reports, the soft glow of moonlight usually guides newly hatched loggerhead sea turtles. Isn't that a cool name, by the way? Loggerhead sea turtles. From the beaches of Georgia's Little St. Simons Island to the ocean. Georgia, I believe, is I think they're talking about the state, right? Or are they talking about the country? I don't know. Anyway, massive interstate lights, so that sounds like America, are putting the baby turtles in harm's way. Terrible. What a mess. Yeah, I-95, Interstate 95, that's America. So by the interstate lights, they're talking about interstate highways, and there's lights that light up the interstate highways, and it's distracting the turtles, and they're in harm's way, I guess, or something like that. I don't totally understand it, but FYI. Tsunami waves, a massive 8.8 magnitude earthquake, very big, very, very big, struck off the coast of Russia's far eastern coast Wednesday, local time, triggered tsunami waves. Those are big waves that coursed across the Pacific Ocean. Tsunami advisories and warnings urging millions to move away from the coastal zones and seek higher ground, issued in Russia, Japan, the Philippines, Chile, Peru, Indonesia, Ecuador, as well as Hawaii, Alaska, and the U.S. West Coast. We even got an advisory over here down in SoCal. Crazy, huh? So, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, tsunami waves began reaching Hawaii's coast in the early evening local time. And one wave reported in Kahului, whatever, on the north central shore of Maui Island was over 5 feet high. Smaller waves arrived along Washington, Oregon, and California coastline early this morning. However, dangerous currents and additional surges are possible for hours after the initial waves. So far, minimal damage has been reported. The New York City Police Department, New York PD, NYPD, is sending investigators to Vegas, baby, Las Vegas, to learn more about a possible motive for Monday's deadly mass shooting in Midtown Manhattan by that guy who looked like he might have been black and Japanese or something. Shane Devin Tamura, 27, left Las Vegas, where he lived, Saturday and drove to New York City. Monday evening, he used an assault rifle to shoot 5 people, killing 4 inside a Park Avenue skyscraper that housed numerous corporate offices, including the NFL. He was later found in a stairwell, the suspect, Tamura, on a 33rd floor, dead of an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. A suicide note in his pocket, purportedly, expressed grievances with the NFL and alleged that he suffered chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE. Pardon me if I'm butchering the word. And so a brain disease, head trauma. I'm James Hake. Now back to JLP, Hour 2.
To stand up strong, face the truth about themselves, to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Good morning. It's the second hour of the show already, and you can get involved by calling 888-77-53-773, 888-77-JESSE. And my biblical question for this week, a doozy, are you living your own life? And what does it mean to live your own life? Are you living your own life? And what does it mean to live your own life? I'm laughing at the lady in the video, how she's partying at the beach, living her life. We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on jesseleepeterson.com/show. jesseleepeterson.com/show. And if you're out and about and doing whatever it is you're doing and you just can't sit and watch the show, you can podcast all the shows, but you can also listen as they are happening still. A way has been made by going to TalkStream Live at 605-615-4131. 605-615-4131. And to donate and have your comments read out loud, go to Buy Me a Coffee. BuyMeACoffee.com/JLP Talk. BuyMeACoffee.com/JLP Talk or Bond JLP Cash App. Bond JLP Cash App. So listen to the callers and the super chatter. I'm going to get to all of your calls, but I got to get to my guest first, my friend, your friend, the world friend, American friend, God's friend, and one of the smartest white men on this side of the planet. And I'm not just saying that, folks. It's the truth. Bill Lockwood is here every last of the month. Bill Lockwood is here. He's the host of Patriotic Pulpit. Patriotic Pulpit and Bible Studies with Bill Lockwood. He's a preacher in Our Park Church of Christ in Texas. And I'm encouraging you to support Bill, really. And you don't hear me saying this about a lot of folks, right? But he needs your help. He loved what's right. He loved this country. He tried to do a little bit before he leave the planet. American Liberty with BillLockwood.com. Check him out. Bill.
Yes, sir. How are you this morning, Jesse?
All is well. Happy White History Month.
Thank you so much for that. That's great.
Amazing. And I'm going to get to the founder of the country, the USA, and I want you to explain to the folks who they are and why, at least some of them, and why. But first, Bill, have you seen that brawl that happened in Cincinnati?
Yeah, yes, sir. I've seen it on videotape. You know, a lot of people taped it, and I have seen it.
And first of all, I want to know, when you first saw it, what was your impression, and what do you think about what's happening with all this?
Well, you know what, Jesse, we are not, as a country, in my view, addressing the main problem, and that is the minority communities are out of control. And they're out of control for various reasons. And of course, we can talk about that, the fatherless homes that they have, but that they're absolutely immoral. So here's an example of how much they're out of control. So there is what is called restorative justice, and restorative justice is that which is a mantra that is taught in the public school systems, is actually a policy that is in place. So just for example, people might just look at this one. There's what is called the Texas Appleseed Project. And the Texas Appleseed Project talks about the kids that are incarcerated, that is in high school, that is, that are in juvenile detention. So here's how it works. For example, in the Dallas public school system. The Dallas public school system, let's say, I don't know exactly the percentages, but let's say it's about 65% white American people. But the minority communities are maybe 30% black, or maybe 25% black, and then Hispanic and so forth. But the minority communities make up the rest of it. But the majority population is white. But they find in the juvenile detention system that the majority of them, percentage-wise, are minorities, and primarily blacks. So the assumption is immediately that we are a racist country because we're incarcerating the black high schoolers instead of the fact that we have, okay, majority are white, but the majority are blacks in the incarceration system, the juvenile justice system. Therefore, we must be racist. So the Texas Appleseed Project with restorative justice is saying, no, we need to equalize it. We need to equalize how many blacks are in there compared to whites and Hispanics. All of that is to say that we are ignoring the real problem, and the problem is racism and hatred and immorality in the black community. And that's what is on display in Cincinnati. Why are they not talking about hate crimes already? Why are they not talking about hate crimes? If that had been reversed, whites doing that to a black person, you know what? We would have all HE double toothpicks breaking loose in America. And you know, people would be saying, okay, we need to have hate crimes on the table here, but we don't even hear that. Instead, we see the black community is absolutely out of control. And as far as I know, only one person actually called into 911, even though there were hundreds of bystanders, and you can hear them all cheering on the beatdown of that white man. What the cause of us was, we don't know, but there's no excuse for that.
Right. Absolutely. But if something don't change for the good to stop this, there will be all out genocide upon white people, just as it is in South Africa, because the way it is right now in America is the way it was at one time in South. It started out like this, and it got to the point when the whites gave up the city, they went to the farmland, and now there's a genocide upon white people. That is on its way to happening in America, and if no one stop it, it's going to be a genocide. Are white people concerned about that?
They should be. They should be, because we have been teaching through a public school system and through the mainstream media and through, that is, the legacy media, and through the general teaching of our country, is that the blacks have been maltreated by white people, and we have continued to beat that drum until everybody is angry. So we talk about, okay, the Indians were done wrong, the blacks were done wrong, and it's white people that are the problem. In spite of the fact that it's not white people, it was simply the culture of the times, and it was America that actually freed the slaves for the first time in history, except, of course, what was going on in England as well. But be that as it may, It was our country and our system that was set up to get rid of slavery. And so, but we've been beating that drum, and all that does is create hatred in the minority communities. And that is what we're seeing on display right now.
When they say that, oh, it's because of racism, you put them in jail because they're black, and you need to put in more white people, why don't someone say, no, you're lying, that's not true, we're not going to pass laws like that to go after white people just because they're white? No, it's not going to happen. Why don't someone stop these people because they know these people are lying? Why are they allowed to get away with it?
You know, that's a very good question, Jesse. And I tell you what, it goes back to the 1960s when the radicals, who like Students of Democratic Society, by the way, this SDS, whom I just mentioned, one of the members, of course, was Bill Ayers, who was good friends with Barack Obama.
Yeah, I remember.
But he also the man was named Bart Lubow. Bart Lubow started this restorative justice system in the incarceration rates in juvenile justice programs. And in Chicago, in Cook County, Chicago, that's where that was really the pilot program, and it spread everywhere in the country in a lot of places. And of course, the idea is, okay, the white people are racist. We've put people that are the minorities incarcerated, them in juvenile justice programs and in the adult system. So therefore, we are racist, and so people have just bought into that. The universities teach it. The mainstream media teaches it. You find it, MSNBC teaches it. They're all on board with this, and very rare do you find anybody that stands up and says, this is a bunch of bunk. What is interesting here, Jesse, is what I'm getting at is the SDS was a communist organization, and communism worked to get a wedge in race, the wedge between races in America. They said, how are we going to divide America? There's only one way to divide it. You can divide it on class. But the better way to divide America is on race. And so they have driven a wedge in race. Consequently, the majority population has been cowed down so much that people don't speak out like what we're trying to do right now on the program. They don't do that out loud. You don't see that on Fox News. You don't see that on the mainstream programs.
Yeah. Even some of the churches teaches that racism existed, the white man did this and all that. So you're right that the media is doing it, the government is teaching that, but even some of the churches, white churches, are teaching that the white man is the problem.
Exactly so. You know what? And the churches black churches, many of them have been teaching this.
Yeah.
And now it's filtered into white churches as well, that we have to pay reparations for historical sins. And so that is being taught in black churches. Of interesting fact here is that is all a political agenda, and it's a communistic political agenda. But at the same time, if I were to get up in the pulpit and say, well, you know what, we need to be supportive of Donald Trump. Boy, I'll tell you what, people would be jumping all over the place saying, you know what, you're jumping into politics. You keep politics out of the pulpit. But you know what? The black churches are all into politics.
Yep.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're not, they do it openly. They don't hold back. I remember when Hillary Clinton and all the people were running, they went into the black churches, they stood at the pulpit, and they politicked. And no one said a thing, but a white church does it, is a big mess.
You know, just like Jeremiah Wright at the Obama's church and so forth, where he was blasting America continually with curse words in the pulpit. And what was that all about? That was a political agenda. So I remember I was living in East Texas in a town there, and I was preaching, but it was a majority black community. And they would have Martin Luther King Day, and all the black churches would support it. But, you know, you felt compelled to go because, okay, the people in the churches would tell you, better go to that. You better go to. I thought, okay, now why would all the churches be supporting Martin Luther King Day and having a big feast? Because that was not about preaching the gospel. It's about black-white relations in America. And but it was all a political agenda, and that's what they did. And they do that all the time.
Why everybody know and they're aware of the crime that has gone out of control now as a result of no bail bonds, letting the blacks out of the prisons and the jailhouses around the country. If they commit the crime, they go into if they go to courthouse, they go in through the front door and just walk out the back door.
Yeah.
And it's so bad in the L.A. area here, San Fernando Valley, and those white areas. It's as bad as it is in the inner cities. White people are being robbed in daylight, broad daylight. Sometimes they're home, and then the cops show up after the criminal leave. And they have out there. They have like gated fences around the home. They have all type of alarm systems. They have everything going on, and it still doesn't stop the crime, as it is in South Africa. What is wrong with the blacks that they don't say? You know what? Enough is enough. You're doing wrong now. Yeah. If you want to be mad at a white man, go on and be mad. But you're robbing. You're killing, you're stealing. The crime is apparent to everybody. What's wrong with the blacks that they won't correct their own people about that?
Because they're more aligned with skin and race than they are the gospel of Christ. Even the churches, there are conservative, what I might call conservative-oriented, that is theologically speaking, black preachers who would say, let's don't talk about politics in the pulpit. But I know one, for example, in Alabama, don't talk about politics in the pulpit, but he gets on Facebook and he posts Black Lives Matter material and supports the rallies. That was several years ago, supporting the rallies. I thought, well, you see, but what they're doing is they're more in tune with race than they are Jesus Christ. And that's the problem. They have not been converted to Christ. They are converted only as far as their black skin goes, and then they're going to be aligned with the race of their blacks before they are with Jesus Christ.
But do they think that the crime, the breaking in of the homes and the robbing of white people, so do those people think that that's fine? I mean, are they thinking in their mind, well, they're stealing from the whites, so it's fine. They deserve it. I mean, are they thinking that crime is right too?
Well, you know what? I think the majority population is so, as I said, cowed down. That is so back on their heels. Which, you know what? I read the statement not too long ago, and that is the spirit of apostasy does not retrace its steps. And when people apostatize, when they go away from the truth, they don't come back. And so the idea is, just for example, in this situation in Cincinnati, one of those men who have been arrested, I think they arrested 3 people already from beating down that white man.
Yeah, I saw 2 of them. We played 2 of this morning, a black guy and a black woman, black female. They had
already been arrested.
More. Yeah.
They had already been arrested. They had been arrested and paid like a $400 fine, and they walked out of jail. And that was the end of it. So that's what they're. But see, we are not. Our whole justice system is riddled with the idea that we need some kind of reformation and we need to teach reform, but we're not thinking about, okay, what's the justice system to do? It is to protect society. That's why they're there. That's why the police are there, the cops, the citizens of peace. They're there to protect society. It is not about reform and reformation of individuals. It is about protecting the people next door.
Amazing. Well, yeah, I saw the guy, Michael, they said he had been in trouble before, and he just a $400 fine, and he walked away. What? Right. So, Bill, I want to get into the White History Month. What is it? So what's going to happen? I mean, other than a genocide upon white people, and this will be South Africa and America, how is this going to all end?
I don't think it ever ends, Jesse. I think that's what I was saying. The spirit of apostasy doesn't retrace its steps. It doesn't go back.
It doesn't go back.
No. Just for example, think about the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
They left the Constitution long, long ago, back in the time of Woodrow Wilson and Franklin D. Roosevelt. They left the Constitution and they used hardball tactics to get it done. All right, so now we're outside the bounds of the Constitution. So now what's happening? Well, in New York City, they're putting up a man to be mayor that is a hardcore communist.
Yeah.
That's the end game, I would say, that to be communist. They don't come back and say, hey, you know, I'll tell you this, I really get tired of a lot of conservative pundits and conservative talk show hosts talking on Fox News about, well, the Democrats still don't get it. Let me tell you something. They're not going to get it.
Right.
They're not going to understand. They're going to go on. Once you leave the boundaries, you know, just like in horses, I train horses, and I used to use frequently a round pin, and I'd take these horses that were not trained yet, and we'd use a round pin.
Yeah.
The horse I had one horse crash over. It was kind of a small round pin. I put too much pressure. It was my fault. I put too much pressure on the horse. The horse jumped over the round, crashed over the gate of the round pin, and was outside. All right, now he's outside the pen. Well, okay, now what do I have to do? Well, he can go down the pasture and eat down in the pasture. He might go running down the highway. He might go, I don't know where he'll go, but you know what? Where's the end? Well,
Yeah.
it just, nobody knows.
Yeah.
You just keep going. Once you're outside, and we don't have a moral compass in the minority communities. We don't have a moral compass. We don't have any right and wrong. All those people in Cincinnati going and cheering on the beat down of a person like that on the street and recording it, and no one calling the cops except one person out of 150 that were standing by. I tell you, there's no end to it. We've got to get back to teaching the children, the young people, and that's why I'm involved in Christian education, by the way. So, be that as it may.
What is it like for you being a white man and moving about America? How's that for you? Are you concerned with about what is it like being white and moving about right now?
Well, the best illustration I can give you is from being in the classroom. So being in the classroom in the public school system, as I was until about 3 years ago, I would taught in a juvenile justice system, which was kind of not really incarcerated. I did teach in juvenile detention, but then I was in a kind of what I called a halfway house, which was an alternative education. But the primary population was minority. And it was a frequent statement that the black children would tell me, you're racist. You're racist. And the only reason I'm here is because you hate blacks. You hate blacks. I heard that all the time. You can hear that all the time. They are unafraid to say it.
Right.
They don't have any compunction about saying, you know what, you hate blacks. The only reason I'm in here is because I'm black. And the only reason you make me do this is because I'm black. I heard that all the time. You know what? If a white student were to say that to a black teacher, the whole system would start crumbling. We'd have teacher meetings and we'd have administrative meetings. What's wrong with the students here? Why are the students saying that the black teachers are racist? You're racist. You know what? But they feel no hesitation to say that, and you know, you just have to put up with it because the entire culture says, no, you can't argue with them. If you do, they get angry. They get angry and they might get violent. So what do you do? Because they're in there for violence to begin with. So what do you do? And you can't touch them. So there you go.
I remember giving a couple of talks to those kids in your class down there.
Right.
A couple of times. So, Bill, happy White History Month.
Thank you for that, Jesse.
Tell us about the founders of this country.
Here's something interesting. As long as we're talking about White History Month, I'll just say this. This is just a quip. But the founders, of course, were genius individuals. They brought together for the first time in the history of the world, Jesse, the formula for freedom. And that formula was that our rights are given to us by God, and the government's role was simply to protect those rights. That was put right into the Declaration of Independence. That is, of course, the foundational document of our nation, one of the founding documents of our nation. And it gives us the very concept of it. But here's the quip I was talking about. So several years ago at Freedom Hall in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, I had a friend of mine who was going through Freedom Hall. And he was behind a class of young students. These were second graders, third graders, fourth graders. And they would come to the picture of all the founding fathers signing the Constitution at Constitution Hall, or at Freedom Hall, the Freedom Hall there. And so here's how the one that was in charge, that is the guide, here's what he said to the children. What do you notice about the picture and the men that are in the picture? And the children would say, well, they're wearing funny, some of them wearing funny hats. And other ones would say, you know, they have funny clothes. He says, no, here's what I want you to notice. They're all white men. Let's go to the next room.
Wow.
What was that about? That was about trying to train the children to think only in terms of race. So I say that simply honoring White History Month. The men that put it together were white.
Yeah.
But that is not to say that because they were white, they were good. It is simply to point out, let's not ignore the fact that they put together the greatest formula for freedom that the world has ever seen. Yeah. And that is to recognize that God has given me life, liberty, and property as inherent rights, natural law, because I have it. Now, having said that, I want to mention, you know, I saw on MSNBC there's a columnist that was hosted on the show, one of the shows, and her name is Heidi, I guess it's Presbala, and she was ranting about, I don't know if ranting is the right word, but she was trying to say, okay, the problem is that people believe in the Trump campaign, and in the Trump supporters believe that our rights come from God. And this is a Catholic idea, and this is white nationalism. I want to say here, these people don't know diddly about what they're talking about. It has nothing to do with white nationalism. It has nothing to do with Christian nationalism. Right. Christian nationalism has nothing to do with it. Our founding fathers spoke with almost unanimous voice that this is a Christian nation. John Jay, one of the writers of the Federalist Papers, said this is a Christian nation. The Supreme Court on a number of occasions said this is a Christian nation. So also did Supreme Court justices that were on the Supreme Court at that time, the people such as John Marshall. This is a Christian nation. All of them said that. As a matter of fact, it was so roundly understood that Benjamin Morris, a second-generation American, said, if you had gone, and his father was part of the assembly, the convention at the state conventions and the national assemblies, he said, if you had said that all religions were held on equal grounds with Christianity, he said that would have earned universal disapprobation. That is, people would have absolutely been angry at that, because Christianity is the founding principle of our country. Does that mean that we're a Christian nationalist nation, or someone wants that? No. That's what people equate with. And this woman, Heidi Presbala, she said that's the Catholic Church. No, the Catholic Church is the unification of church and state. And they had the prelates and the cardinals and the Pope running the state. That is absolutely what we don't want. And that's what the separation of church and state actually means. So we don't want a state that is run by the church.
Right.
But we do have a Christian nation in the sense that the principles of Christianity are embedded in our Constitution and in our common law.
That's amazing. That is so not understood now by the teachers. They don't teach that anymore in the schools.
No, they do not.
And the kids are not even hearing it, and they don't know about it either because they're not being taught that at home. So we're going to lose that completely if it's not changed, that God give us the right to be free. That's going to disappear completely.
Correct. It is going to disappear. So that's one reason we are not teaching the founders, or that's one that I should say, one of the one of the results of not teaching the founders and what they said. You know, a lot of people, for example, this Heidi Prisbilla from MSNBC, and I think she was actually a columnist at a newspaper that was being hosted on the show, but she said, you know what, this idea, she was saying, this idea that they believe that Christianity is part of... Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Remember, are you okay to stay just for a few more minutes?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay,
yeah, that's great.
We'll wind down when I come back. 888-77-JESSE. Back in a moment. Steve, thank you for calling and thanks for holding. How have you been helped by the show?
I'm going to tell you this. I believe you might go down in history as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, black man that ever lived on planet Earth, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know anybody before you that's been that great. You know, freeing the slaves is one thing, but you've been freeing people of their mind, which matters, it should be anyhow, to you more than anything else, because with the mind not being right, there ain't nothing else going to happen right anyway.
If you can doubt every thought because you're not your thoughts, if you can doubt every thought, knowing that you're not your thoughts, you don't create them, they're not from God, that they're from the deceiver, the great deceiver, Satan. If you can doubt every thought, you can be free, just like that. At an instant. Bring every thought into captivity. It's so amazing. Okay, folks, welcome back. Because of time, I'm not going to do any promotion for my show or what's going on with me at this point. But, Bill, I want you to tell the folks how to get to your websites, whatever you want to put out there, and how they can help you, because I want them to financially support you as well.
Thank you so much for that, Jesse. Well, the website by which they can support me, it has a donate button on the website, is American Liberty with Bill Lockwood. I don't put articles on it. It's not an active website as far as articles are concerned, but it is a place you could go, American Liberty with Bill Lockwood, and there's a donate button on that particular website. What I do have is a podcast, which is patrioticpulpit.com, Patriotic Pulpit. It's on YouTube. It's on Amazon Music app. It's on Spotify app. So it's Patriotic Pulpit. And then I also have the sermons that I preach, and I've just started a series on 2 Corinthians, and that will be in the pulpit, so that you can find Bible studies with Bill Lockwood. But I touch on these political issues as well in the pulpit, and so Bible studies with Bill Lockwood, and those will be also on YouTube. So all of that you can find, I think, pretty easily.
Right on. So you were mentioning this lady, and we were talking about how eventually all the rights will be gone. There's no teaching about these things in the school. Parents are not teaching their children this anymore, and it's going to all be gone. And you mentioned some woman from MSNBC or one of the network.
Yeah, so I was just mentioning that she was a guest last year on MSNBC, and her name is Heidi. I guess it's I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but it's Prisbilla. Let's see, I wrote it down here, P-R-Z-B-Y-L-A. But she was lamenting the idea that there are people on the right who think this is a Christian nation. She said, that's dangerous. That's Christian nationalism. Of course, she doesn't even know anything about what she's talking about. But here's the point. Why don't these people go back and read the founders? They don't read the founders. If you read the founders themselves, you don't get that idea. You know that they didn't want a Christian nationalist society. They wanted a separation between the church and state, which was not a constitutional worded precept, but it was the idea, as Thomas Jefferson put it, that is to say, the state stays out of the business of the church. And that's exactly what they meant by it. And that's what the First Amendment is. Congress shall make no law respecting. And that is, Congress stays out of the business of the churches. That is to say, they don't tell the pulpits what to preach. Oh, here we have the IRS is saying, you can't preach thus and so because this is, that would be a violation of the First Amendment and blah, blah, blah. No, the founders didn't talk that way, but they talked unanimously, or practically unanimously, that this is a Christian nation because the principles of the Bible are the foundation of our nation, and our Constitution is built upon it.
Yeah.
Now, she made a comment on that program. She said the founders acted as if God was actually speaking to them. That is stupidity gone to seed. They did not believe such a thing.
Yeah.
They were not in the Pentecostal camp. The Pentecostal movement hadn't even begun yet. That was what they believed, was that the principles of the Bible and godly principles that undergirded what God set up in the Bible and the Old Testament country and the New Testament mandates, those principles are at the foundation of our nation. That's how they would put it. Had nothing to do with what God was talking to them and telling them to write something down. So but anyway, that's the mistake that so many people make. And I hear a lot of preachers making that also anymore, even in the conservative camps. I'll say, I heard one black preacher saying, he is a conservative guy in Alabama. He said, the one I mentioned earlier, he said, well, some people think this is a Christian nation. No, we're not Christian nationalists. They are mixing and matching ideas. No, Christian nationalism is the idea of the Catholic Church, where the Catholic Church runs the state. And you can read how that happened in King Henry VIII's England, for example. And many popes said, you know what? We speak for God. And they say that today. We speak for God, and we will give the laws, and you have to go through us to get it done. So anyway, that's not at all what Christian nation means.
Two quick closing questions for you, Bill, from someone. One person want to know, what does it mean when you say our rights come from God? They don't know what that means.
So that means simply that we have to recognize that God created us. We are created in the image of God, Genesis 1:26 and 27. And since we are created in the image of God, God bequeathed every individual with the right to life and the right to liberty and the right to own property, just as for example, Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. So he had freedom. Adam and Eve did. They had freedom. They were to work the garden. That was their mandate, to work in the garden. And they could eat of the fruit of it, that is the fruit of their own labor. That is rights given by God. That is embedded in human nature. That is natural law. That's the concept that we are created in God's image, and God gives us the right to life. Let's just say, to illustrate it, let's remove the concept that God gave us rights. Who is it that bequeaths to us rights? It would have to be the government. And what the government gives, the government can take away.
Yeah.
Does the government give you the right to live? Does the government give you the right to freedom? Does the government give you right to property? No, you have that right from God. And so the founders said right in the Declaration of Independence, they started on the fact that we are endowed by our Creator, one who created us, with certain inalienable rights. That is, they cannot be removed without incurring the wrath of Almighty God. Life. That's why life is sacred, because it has been endowed by God. That's why our liberty is sacred. It has been endowed by God. That's why we have the right to property. That is, the shirt that you're wearing says White History Month. That belongs to Jesse Lee Peterson. That's your personal property. Your car is your personal property. If I go out and key your car, then I have damaged your personal property, and I've made assault on what God has given you. You earn money, you accumulate that which belongs to you, and it is yours. And your property is an extension of your own personality.
Amazing. And then the final question, Bill, is, well, maybe one more. But the final question next to one more, can people who don't believe in God still believe in human rights?
You know what? People do believe in human rights that do not believe in God. But I will say this, just for example, let's just take as an illustration, the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. They say, well, we give the right to speech of everyone as prescribed by law. So what are they saying? Well, it's kind of a give and take. They say, well, you have a right to speak and offer your opinion as proscribed or prescribed by law. That is, okay, only insofar as the United Nations sitting in Brussels, Belgium, gives you the right to say. So we'll tell you the limit of what you might be able to offer as your opinion. If your opinion is that this should be White History Month and the United Nations says that is improper, then they're going to curtail your right to say that. So that's the only alternative, and that is people can believe in rights, but eventually it's going to come down to the rub where the rubber meets the road, and that is on what basis do you believe in human rights? If God did not create you, Jesse, you are nothing more than an animal, just as the same as the animals of the field, just the same as a cockroach crawling in my house, which I hope I don't have. And that is to say, I have no more right than any animal at all, no more than a bug, no more than a snake. I don't have, because we're all the same. So it becomes an empty proposition to talk about human rights if we do not posit it, if we do not anchor it in the concept of God. So yes, I understand that there are people who act, for example, honestly in society who don't go to church. But that's because we have been schooled in the concept that we will give answer to God. And normally, even if they don't believe in God, they still maintain those morals and those mores that their parents taught them and our society has in them. But what's going on in our society is they're pushing hard against God. And once God is gone, then it takes a while. It empties itself of any morality, and it is an empty talk to talk about human rights.
Amazing. Hate, you know James Hate, right? He believed that he believed human rights is a communist buzzword.
It is. It's a buzzword.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it is a buzzword. It becomes a political football. So Jimmy Carter talked about human rights everywhere. So we use that to go over, for example, to Iran and kick out the Shah of Iran and put in the mullahs. And so we said, well, the people under the Shah weren't enjoying the rights that they should have, and we think that we should go over and help them out. And so same thing in South Africa. And so they use it as a buzzword. So a lot of things, just like restorative justice, that becomes a buzzword. You think of justice as that which is justly done to an individual, but that's not what it means. Human rights becomes a buzzword of political action to change different countries and to change the structure of a country, right?
So from the super chat on Rumble, and this is from Commander Kim. Kim said to please tell Bill Lockwood Trump overturned law. You can now freely talk about politics from the pulpit without losing nonprofit status. Thank you, Trump. Did you know about that?
I did.
Yeah.
But you know what? I did it anyway. I don't need Trump to tell me what I'm going to say in the pulpit.
That's right.
I appreciate Trump doing that, but you know what? I wasn't not going to stop saying what I needed to say and what needs to be said so that people can understand what's going on because of the IRS. I just said, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to stop doing it. But I do thank Trump for doing that. But that be the case, I appreciate Trump for saying that. But you know, that started with LBJ, and I guess you know how that story went with LBJ, who actually curtailed the pulpits in America. It started with Texas, and he started saying, you know, you can't talk in the pulpit about the people running for office. But, you know, I think that's a bunch of bunk. If we want to talk about it, we will. And if I say we should have a free market pulpit, if people don't like what I say in the pulpit, then there are other pulpits to go to.
Mike Young from Super Chat want to know, he says, hey, Bill Lockwood, what are your thoughts on Trump's second term?
You know, I really like what's going on in the second term. I think he's running with lightning speed. I do not agree with everything that he has done. I think that just off the top of my head, I think several of the executive orders actually overstepped his bounds. But that is, of course, I will say, because the precedent has been set by the executive orders that have been going on in the presidents out of the executive department for many, many years. And that is that the presidents will have an executive order. Executive orders were simply to order his own staff to do certain things and not to change laws here and there. So I think in certain cases, Trump has overstepped those bounds. But that's how it's been going, and I don't appreciate that. I think that's not constitutional. But as far as the general picture of it, I appreciate him. I appreciate where he's going. I think that he understands, and I think he believes that rights come from God. He wants to get the government off our backs.
Yeah.
And that's what I appreciate about him.
Final word, Bill, and tell the folks again your website and everything.
Well, my final word is, Jesse, I sure appreciate you. You're such a great man, and I appreciate all that you do on your radio program. But the website is American Liberty with Bill Lockwood. There's a donate button there, American Liberty with Bill Lockwood. And then Patriotic Pulpit is my podcast, and you can see that on YouTube, Amazon Music, Spotify app as well. So Patriotic Pulpit. And then I have Bible Studies with Bill Lockwood. That's coming out of the pulpit of the church. So that's how you can get in touch with me, and you can write me also at those things, patrioticpulpit.com. So you can find me there.
Amazing, Bill. Well, my audience love Bill Lockwood. Hey, love
thank
when
you
they
for
know
that.
that you're coming. Even Mays from Ohio. Mays love Bill.
Well, I love Mays. I never met her, but I tell you what, at least she comes in and she gets in and inspires with me, and I appreciate that when people come out and say that.
Right
Yeah.
on. Thank you, Bill, and happy White History Month, and we'll talk again. Let's see, I think someone thinks she's boycotting White History Month.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, Bill, and we'll talk again soon.
Yes, sir, Jesse. Thank you for having me. Lord bless you.
Thank you. You too. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Amazing. Bill Lockwood, folks. Check him out. Amazing. Listen to his show, his church service, his Bible in the pulpit. You will not be disappointed. Let me go to the first-time caller out of Minnesota, Troy. Troy, you're on the air.
Hey, Jesse. It's nice to talk to you.
Thank you, Troy.
Hey, I just had to say that you are an incredible person in our country, and I hope that you get the Medal of Freedom someday.
Amazing. Thank you.
So, yeah, Jesse, I just had a question. I've been asking you a lot of questions on Cameo, but you said that sons should move out after they're 18. I was wondering if you think daughters should as well, and on top of that, what is a good job for a daughter before she gets married?
Ordinarily, I wouldn't believe that a daughter should move out until she get married, right? But because of the way things are today, daughters got to take responsibility for their own lives now because they cannot rely or trust a man to do it anymore. And so I think that the fathers should prepare the daughters to leave at some point for sure, because she's going to be on her own anyway. And, I mean, whatever job I don't think that women need to work, like manly job, like driving tractors and doing, killing hogs and things like that. But she got to work and she got to do things where she can earn a living, because the men are not just able to do it anymore. They rely on the women more so than the women can rely on them. So she should be prepared, just as you should prepare the son to be out on his own at some point. And it's so dangerous for women now to be out on their own. I almost don't think that they should even get an apartment or house by themselves, because, society is just pure evil now, man. You just can't. The women take a risk when they're on their own now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I work at TSA, and I see a lot of flight attendants come through.
Uh-huh.
And I was wondering if you think that's a good job, but I also do see a lot of homosexuals there, so I don't know if they could be corrupted by being around those guys.
No, if she is been taught by you not to be angry, not to hate, she would be fine in that. I think that we need some more nice, beautiful flight attendants instead of all these old fat ones and these guys and all that. So I think that would be a perfect job but do what you want, of course, but for her to travel around the world and just gotta enjoy her life for now, in case she does settle down and get married, have a family at some point.
Yeah, because the one thing I thought about is if you're traveling all the time, that might make it hard for her to get a husband locally, but at the same time, they they get to see the world and get that travel, out of them before they get married. So.
And also, she shouldn't be thinking about, even though it's normal for women to want to get married, have a family, she shouldn't be thinking about getting married or having a family. Her first thought in her mind should be set on seeking what's right, seeking the truth, be one with the truth, and the truth will add onto her what she should have. It will naturally be added onto her. But if she think about getting married or getting a husband and all that, she's going to always end up with the wrong man.
So you'd say, like, she should stay at home before she gets married, but it's good for her to work.
Yes.
But not go to college.
Well, as long as she doesn't get a false identity from going to college, well, maybe she can go to learn a trade, how to be a doctor or how to be a trade. But don't get this false identity that you're important because you went to college. And she should work because she got to learn how to take care of herself.
Yeah, I was just, because I know I totally agree with you, because I grew up, single parent household, and I still live at home. I'm trying to move out next year.
How old are you?
But I'm 37.
And you still live with your parents?
Well, I did move to Japan when I was 24, and then I did serve in the military for 4 years. So it's not like I've never got out, but I've just been, like you said, trying to overcome my sin and trying to find that forgiveness for my parents. And you've been a really big help. I found you on the Hodgetwins podcast, and I was just blown away by what you were saying.
Have you forgiven your parents?
Yes.
So you've gone to them and forgiven them?
Well, my father, he passed away when I was 21
of
a drug overdose. I never got to meet him. But last year, my mom got diagnosed with terminal cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the moment I was truly reborn, because I think God convicted me. He said, you can't hate her anymore. What you say, she was just a victim of the same circumstance that you're in, the anger of the mother.
Yeah.
So I was reborn, and I do, ever since that time, life has been getting amazing, but I know it's going to take a while for it to truly blossom.
But don't think that way either. All you need to do is, if you haven't started doing the silent prayer now, do the silent prayer at rebuildingtheman.com/prayer. And you need to practice staying, I recommend you practice staying present where the truth lives. The truth, God, power, love is always present with you. But if you're lost in your head thinking about the past or the future and all that, you're going to be with the darkness, and the darkness is going to make it seem like it's impossible to have an amazing life. So just practice staying out of your head as much as possible, and use your brain just to do physical work and all that kind of stuff. But practice staying present and let the truth work for you, and it will. And don't have this idea of going to take forever or it won't take forever. It's going to be this or don't. All ideas are wrong. You just practice being present, and you will have an amazing life.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, Christ said, don't worry about tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow will be anxious for itself. So
Yeah.
I do what you said, yeah.
Well, you stay with it, man. Stay with it, and you have not seen anything yet. I promise you that.
Yeah. God bless you, Jesse. I love you, and thank you, and all the other conservative strong men. You are like the strongest man I've ever listened to. So you are incredible.
Thank you, Troy. You stay with it, man. All right. Call me again.
God bless you.
And God bless you. I gotta take a break. What now? 888-7753-773. Hate news is coming, not the fake news. And I'll be back in a moment. Manhood Hour. We have a counseling service, and I have to admit, thanks to God, it is the best counseling service on this side of heaven. I counsel with men and women, families, and individuals around the world. Most people are unhappy, they're miserable, they have rough lives, they're depressed, suicidal, young and old, of all races. I understand, I know why, and I do understand it. Because exactly what's happening in me is happening with everybody outside of me, inside of them. And I've noticed that with those who really, really, really want to understand, they overcome it just like that, out of one counseling session. If you need counseling, you can go to rebuildingaman.com or call 800-411-2663. 800-411-BOND. Best counseling service on this side of heaven.
Emil Bove has been confirmed by the Senate, which is cool. That's a Trump pick for a judge to replace some of these degenerate, or at least one of these degenerate, evil activist judges. He's going to be a judge for good. He may not be a Christian, but he's perhaps Christian friendly. I don't know, but I think perhaps. Anyway, Trump is destroying, the Trump administration, that is, destroying $10 million, something like that, worth of contraceptives, which should be productive, reproductive, that is, for America. Wouldn't that be nice? And a climate summit happening in November, right? The U.S. may pass on it. I love our greatest president, based boomer. But not based boomers, the Australia Aussies. They're banning YouTube for like young people under 16 years old. YouTube isn't bad for young people under 16 years old or whatever. But they're pretending like it is. Maybe they're hiding the youth from the truth. Because there is the JLP show on YouTube. But it's on also other places for those of you you Aussies. And Kiwis, by the way. And the good Ozzy Osbourne, I don't know if he's good, but rest in peace, he's gone. He had or is having his funeral procession. He's gone, right? But they're doing a funeral procession in his hometown of Birmingham, England. Happy White History Month. Rest in peace to that singer and guitarist, musician guy, Ozzy Osbourne. This is the end of hour 2 of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. It is Wednesday, the 30th of July, AD 2025. There is one line open. You can call in right now, even during Hake News, Not Fake News. And JLP will be right back for Manhood Hour coming up in the 3rd hour. And after the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, the HakeReport.com. And then American Anchor Baby. Okay? And then at 2 p.m. Pacific time today, 4 Central, 5 Eastern, Punchy TV Live. It should be pretty cool. Bill, the engineer, not to be confused with Bill Lockwood, is going to have some content for us, some fascinating information about space, which is so real, guys. Come at us, bros. We do have a space denier who will be on the show as well, I believe. Derrick, JLP's black producer. Nice. Punchy TV on YouTube and punchy.tv/punchytv. So cool. Contraception. The Trump administration plans to destroy nearly $10 million worth of contraceptives procured by the USAID rather than deliver these supplies to women in need of preventing having babies overseas or preventing getting pregnant. Overseas, the contraceptives, most long-lasting types of birth controls such as IUDs, injectables, are currently stored in a warehouse in Belgium. The preliminary decision to destroy the family planning services, they call it, confirmed by a State Department spokesman. Doing so will cost $167,000. Money well spent, perhaps, right? Happy White History Month. We need more white babies around the world. Probably not going to be whites, but whatever. They have to double incinerate the products because they contain high levels of hormones. They don't want to risk leaking the byproducts out into the environment, which likely adds to the cost. So said a congressional aide to Commie Nonsense Network. The Trump administration is quite literally burning taxpayer money. Taxpayer money never should have gone to making the contraceptives. Duh. Anyway, Climate Summit. When COP30, the annual evil UN climate summit, opens in Brazil this November, the U.S. does not plan to have an official presence. Trump administration has fired all their climate negotiators and eliminated the State Department's Office of Global Change. Without the department's climate staff in place, even Capitol Hill lawmakers who usually attend the summits have been unable to get accredited. So said a source to Common Nonsense. COP30 expected to be a landmark summit to set the global climate agenda for the next 10 years. Experts fear the United States' absence from the talks may derail other nations' climate ambitions. Could also have a geopolitical advantage to China. They will be heard more loudly. Also cool. Shout out to China. I'm James Hake. Now back to JLP. Manhood Hour 3.
To stand up strong, face the truth about themselves, to understand what's been wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the third hour of the show today. It's amazing. It's already third hour. You can get involved by calling 888-7753-773. 888-77-JESSE. Jesse. Jesse. And my biblical question is come on, Telly Bull. Come on, Telly Bull. Are you living your own life, and what does it mean to live your own life? What does it mean to live your own life? We have every way. I'm going to need my experts in here in a minute. They didn't know it, so that's why I'm announcing it out loud. I didn't tell them I'm going to talk to them. I have a question, a quick question for my experts. We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on jesseleepeterson.com/show, jesseleepeterson.com/show. And if you're running around doing whatever it is you're doing, and you're like, I gotta go work out. I wish I could stay home and watch the entire show, but I gotta work out. Oh, I gotta take my kids to school because I hate them, and so I gotta drop them off. But you can podcast the show. But on your way to taking them to the social camp of destruction, the school, you can be listening to the show on your iPhone or iPad by calling the listen line on TalkStream Live at 605-615-4131. 605-615-4131. And to donate and have your comments read out loud, go to Buy Me a Coffee. BuyMeACoffee.com/JLP Talk or Bond JLP Cash App. Bond JLP Cash App. And so, Derrick, I need all my experts here, including you. It's Wednesday, and it's the last hour of the show on Wednesday. And as you know, every third hour of the show on Wednesday is Manhood Hour. What is a man? What is a man?
It's an adult human male.
Manhood. Hillary or President Trump?
I voted for Hillary Clinton.
Beta. Beta male. A man is a male who turned to man. Alpha male. Live right, be right, and lead the way.
And that breaking news is in Reno, Nevada. Gunshots outside a casino where officials say multiple people were shot and taken to the hospital.
I don't have an update as to his status at this time, but I do know that it was an adult male.
Has everyone lost their minds?
Authorities say the man in this photo is 27-year-old Shane Devin Tamura of Las Vegas. In his hand, an M4 rifle.
The shooter entered the lobby, turned right.
Men have lost their reason.
We're learning more about a mass stabbing at a Walmart in northern Michigan.
A sound mind and a sound body.
That's what being a man is.
That's for sure. What the anchorman put that together. It's amazing, huh? This is my first time seeing that too. Great job, man. My experts are here, and I just want to hear from them about this, and you, but I haven't had a discussion with them about this story yet. And I wanted to, since it's White History Month, this is an amazing White History Month story, or soundbite, or incident, whatever you want to call it. And it is mind-blowing. Well, maybe there are two little short stories. Both of them amazing. It's White History Month. Happy White History Month. And tomorrow, the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise. Not only is it Bible Thumper Thursday, it's the last day of White History Month. So we got to live it up all the way to the end. I want to get their response, and then I want to hear from you all about it. We take the latest call on Manhood Hour as well, ladies. 888-7753-773. Some of you might be aware of this, and some might not. There is, this is from the tab. There is a white community only in rural Arkansas called Return to the Land, and has gone viral on TikTok following a news report that exposed its leader as it is growing membership. Watch this from Sky News.
What we've done here is establish a place where we have control over who our neighbors are, and that is just for the sake of preserving, our culture.
And that culture, effectively, we're saying this is a white culture, a whites-only place.
White American culture.
Over the last year and a half, high up in the Ozark Hills in the state of Arkansas, dozens of people have been working hard, leveling the land, building houses. They call it an intentional community based around shared ancestry, a long-winded way of saying something really quite simple. Its founder says he is building a fortress for the white race.
It's a racial association.
This is the place that one group has chosen to put that into radical, real-world action.
You want a white nation? Build a white town. It can be done, and we're doing it.
160 acres taking shape, forest cleared, roads laid, cabins built. Around 40 people live here.
Amazing. Isn't that amazing? So it is White History Month, and that's in Arkansas, USA, not in South Africa, Mommy Africa. It looked like the guy that was talking about looked like that white guy from South Africa who's building a white area there in South Africa, white township. And so first, I want to hear from you guys about this. Right here in the middle, front and left of us is my producer and the expert here, Derrick. You black.
Little sound effect for the black man.
Wait.
You didn't have to do that.
And then to my far left is the host of the Hake Report from 9 to 11 a.m. Monday through Friday right here on the Jesse Peterson Network. And an expert as well, Hake.
Hey, guys.
He white.
Hey.
And to my far right, the one, the only, in this whole building, energy so thick, it just run through the building. He get everything done.
That's a fact.
And he's also the host of the American Anchor Baby Show. And Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., except that Friday is at 12 p.m. And an expert here on the show, the American Anchor Baby, an expert. So, Derrick, what do you think about these white people in Arkansas, USA, starting their own, building their own township, their own community?
Well,
for whites only.
It's fine. I think it's a nice start. I think, I don't think people should be bashing these group of guys as much as they do. We report on this show every day about the white genocide that's going on in our country. So, white people taking the initiative and doing something about it, starting their own town. I mean, this is the result of this white genocide that's going on. So I think it's great and right on time for White History Month. Like Bill Lockwood elegantly explained, I think, the founders of this country, they are white and they are Christian. So, hey, this group of guys, they're doing something great here, I think.
And should they, I don't want to put leading words in your mind or your mouth, should they somehow or another create a law or something where the community would stick together and not rent to people of color, especially blacks, in their community? Should they make sure that doesn't happen, knowing that if the blacks should move in, they're going to destroy what they're building? Should they make sure they don't rent or sell or allow the blacks to move in any form or fashion?
Right. No, they definitely shouldn't.
They shouldn't do that?
Yeah, they shouldn't do it.
Shouldn't do what?
They shouldn't allow any blacks in, any other ethnicities in, because we already know the blacks are going to come in. They're going to rename one of the streets after one of these black leaders.
They're going to call the street Martin Luther King or Obama.
Martin Luther King Boulevard or something. And that street's going to run down. The property value is going to go down. It's going to be a mess.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't think, no blacks, no Mexicans, no nothing. And let's watch. I think there was another town in Georgia where blacks, they're putting a little town together. And I heard from one of your callers that they've been working on it for a while, and construction isn't really coming about quick. So it's not.
So they building a black town in Georgia?
Yeah, somewhere in Georgia.
Freedom.
Yeah, what's that?
Freedom.
But why they building a black town? Nobody want to live with them anyway. They got everything.
Freedom, Georgia.
It's by them, for them.
They already have the hoods by themselves, right?
Yeah. By the hoods.
Except the Mexicans.
He said that my caller said that it looked like a COA campground. KOA.
What's a COA?
One of those campgrounds. Looks like a campground. Tents
and so they're trying to build a black town in Georgia.
They are.
But why?
Hey, I mean, black town. I mean, it looked like they were going about it as sort of like out here. What's that town out here called? It's like just black people in like a suburban area. What's that called?
Hillsborough.
Is that it? I don't know.
Out here?
Yeah, out here.
No,
like a nice area?
The Black Beverly Hills. They call it
Baldwin Hills.
Yeah,
Ladera Heights.
Okay, is that?
Yeah, Ladera Heights.
Right.
Okay, yeah. So
Baldwin Hill, Ladera Heights, all right there in the same area.
Yeah, so I think they're going about it something like that.
Beverly Hills. Sorry.
There's a song that
I had not heard about this black town in Georgia.
Yeah. So maybe we could talk to them and see what
And
they're
who
doing.
they going to keep out? Other blacks?
Maybe whites.
They don't have to worry about white. Whites are not coming. White people crazy. They'll move right into the hood.
Yeah, I mean, I think they should welcome them. I mean, look at the country, look at, the property value in white suburban areas. Let them in, but the other way around, I don't know about that. So I think this is a great thing that they're doing. So it'd be good to kind of watch which town evolves.
It's sort of funny because it's like what actually happens. Like you look at what they build, it's just like tents and sort of shanty town. And then you look at what the whites build, and it's like all constructed and nice.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Orderly.
Yeah.
Anchor Baby, what do you think about this all-white, they call it community, I like to call it a little township there, in Arkansas, USA?
It's only 40 people?
Well, no. Believe me, some more white folk going to move in this.
Yeah, Hake's going.
Has to start somewhere, man.
I'm not poo-pooing that. I'm just saying all this over 40 people.
Oh, yeah.
You mean the people reaction to it?
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
I got it.
It's kind of like overreacting to the 49 people or 59 people who came from South Africa as refugees.
And it's that, and that is...
Yeah, that's a good point.
And it's for that reason why they should not let others in. Yeah. They should be very clear about that because all the other races have made it very clear that there's enough of them in there that hate whites. So that's enough for them to have that law. If they're going to react like this to 40 people, then that spirit still exists and they have to protect themselves.
Yeah. And you're right. And I'm hoping that the whites don't cave in. Let them call you racist. Let them call you Nazi. Let them call you whatever, but protect your own area. It's time for that. Your own family, your own everything. So should they make a law? I don't know if you're going to be able to make a law around there, but let's say they make a law that no other color come in but whites.
Yeah, they should be clear on. I think they should be clear on that. Yeah. If that's what they're going to be doing. Well, I mean, do what they see the best way to operate because in a world like today, you're going to be maybe explicit in some way too far, and you might get something coming down on you when you don't need to. But other than that, I think it's fine if they do that.
I think
it's only because of how the world is and how they've shown themselves to be. That's the only. I'm just looking at how things are.
I think that it's an amazing idea. About time, 70 years too, late, because the blacks have been attacking the whites for 70 years now or so, give or take. And so I heard about this little town in Louisiana where the white people said they broke off from the colored people in Louisiana. So I like this, and I hope that we'll start to see more and more of this, because the white people really have no other choice. What are they to do? They're under attack. They're being attacked by mobs of blacks and robbed, and then the laws are against them protecting themselves. They have no other choice. It's about time.
It's hard for...
Well, that's a fact. I would want to go there. I would want to be able to go visit for like a weekend.
I could see you now over there hiking.
Like I would want to, like I like to drive up to,
right,
Big Bear, the mountains, these mountain towns. It tends to be more white and more civilized and more conservative friendly.
I had planned to ask Bill Lockwood, why is it that white people seem to be the only one that know how to create a civilized society? All other races seem not to know how to do that. Why is it? And I forgot to ask Bill, and I'm going to ask him. I asked him this time, and the Lord is willing, and the creek the right. But why is it that white people are the only one that can? He was talking about the founders and how they built this country with the principle of God. How come white people are the only one that seem to know that?
I don't know. It's a great question.
Am I overstating
You're not wrong in
it?
some of your perception. I just don't know why.
It's like the only white people in Europe they did it for, and then they let the colored people in. They were Muslim, Allah people, but they still colored people, right? They consider to be colored.
Yeah,
not white. And America, South Africa, at one time, white, and they did amazing things, and the black people came in. But so Good idea. I wish these people well.
Actually, I was gonna say. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm with the rise of these other ethnicities getting into office, like the Muslims out in I think it's Minnesota somewhere.
Yeah.
They're gonna exploit this. I know that for sure. So
yeah.
they're gonna say, there are whites over here doing this. There's blacks over here doing this. Muslims. We need somewhere where we need a safe haven, basically. So.
Well, they tend to do that anyway when they move into white people countries. They take over areas, cities, and they build their own little Sharia law in the white people country and say, y'all can't come over here.
Yeah.
That's why I find it. That's why I find it a little difficult to say I want to see more of this. It's not against it. To be clear, if I could see more, I don't know, white people having no fear, that's fine. I'd like to see more of that. But to say, I find it hard to say I want to see more white only places. Because simply for this reason, because it's a sign of what has to happen because of some other extenuating circumstance that has forced all this to happen.
Yeah. It's the same way when you have to break off from your family members. When you start working on your own life and you just don't fit in with your family anymore. They don't like you no more because of your values and you don't like them. And you don't like or dislike them, but same way you have to break away from your family as well. But so because of time, there's one other story.
One quick thing.
Yeah.
Sorry. We used to be able to discriminate in whom we sold our houses to. We had these racial covenants. I think another caller on Anchor Baby said this months or a year ago. They had racial covenants, clauses in property deeds that restricted ownership or occupancy based on race or other characteristics. But they made them illegal back in with these anti-discrimination laws or something.
It was a law?
No, neighbors would write these covenants in their homes to ensure their fellow neighbors that I'm not going to sell to some outsider who's going to transform your neighborhood for the worse when I sell my house.
We need to go back to that.
Yeah.
Hurry up.
They call it illegal and unenforceable due to their discriminatory nature due to the Fair Housing Act of 1968, they say, according to far-left Google AI.
And so the Fair Act meant that they knew
Fair Housing Act.
Yeah, they knew that only white people were going to have the best area because they build and keep it going, and where the people of color are not going to be able to do it in their area. Nobody want to go there.
Right.
And so that's why they did that.
Yeah.
What a mess. And once again, how
there was
come
a Supreme
white
Court,
people are the only one?
In 1948, I guess there was this Supreme Court decision that ruled that courts could not enforce racially restrictive covenants, which also undermined the neighbor's ability to protect their fellow neighbors.
So Derrick, you so young, you gonna marry a white woman so you move in these white areas?
Man, I was thinking about it. Maybe Sydney Sweeny, Maybe,
mobility.
But no, I don't know.
You may marry Sydney Sweeny.
That's offensive.
Maybe. But I'm thinking.
I don't know if they would still let you in, even though you may be married to a white woman. They may think that she's liberal.
They might just kick her out.
Oh no, she'll be whatever I am. So she'll be fine. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
they might not let her in
because conservative women don't marry black men.
Conservative women?
No.
Don't worry. What? No, but I don't know. I'm still trying to.
Conservative white women marry black men? I thought it was a liberal thing.
There's a black conservative that has a white wife. I forgot his name. I think you did an interview with him. But yeah.
Who was that?
Heavyset guy.
He was black?
Black.
He had a white wife?
Has a white wife.
And they were conservative?
Yeah, he's conservative.
Oh.
Well,
I thought
supposed to be conservative.
Because liberal white women feel bad for black men. So they marry them and they get beat up and money taken away.
But I can convert as easy. I can convert them really easy.
But because of time, this NBC commercial, news item, I want you guys to quickly respond to this. American Eagles great jeans advertisement campaign with actress Sydney Sweeny, right?
That's right.
That's the one you want to marry.
Yeah, I'll take on a date.
It's at the center of a latest political firestorm online. Watch this from Instagram.
I will be the friend that's too woke because those Sydney Sweeny American Eagle ads are weird. Like fascist weird. Like Nazi propaganda weird.
My body's composition is determined by my genes. Hey, eyes up here.
Sydney Sweeny has very genes.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeny has very genes.
Should we be surprised that a company whose name is literally American Eagle is making fascist propaganda like this? Probably not, but it's still really shocking. Like a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman is talking about her good genes. Like, that is Nazi propaganda.
So true.
Somebody jealous.
It's so funny that the contrast between the little white girl and and this big other girl.
I know.
With the LGBT BLM flag in the background and the nose ring and overweight.
Somebody jealous. Here's a black woman who broke down in tears over the ad, claiming that people would stay silent when black people are eventually hung. Watch this from X.
Yep. So I wanted to read the comment here that's pinned.
Okay.
And then she's responding to this comment. It says, "It's disheartening. I really don't think they truly want to get it. I saw that Sydney Sweeny stuff today, and I got tired." All right, let's watch.
That got me too. And I don't know why. Maybe because it's just so blatant.
When she cries, she lies.
Yeah.
I keep thinking that people just are not going to believe us until we're hung out there. But then even then, I feel like they'll be like, oh, no. Kind of like they are with...
That was not necessary. She thinks she's going to get hanged?
Talk about people. I don't know if you mean like left out to dry or hung from...
I think she meant like
hanged
lynched.
from the tree or hung from the tree.
It's supposed to be hanged when you execute somebody that way.
I don't know if you meant that or the white people leaving the blacks out to dry.
We'll go with that one.
Yeah, let's
That's
go with
what I
that
believe,
one.
yeah.
And this is the last one, folks. This is from 2019, a Kevin Klein ad. Is this black? I mean, is this 2019 Calvin Klein ad supporting black supremacy? Watch this from X.
I am not a moment.
Oh, Lord.
I'm a force to be reckoned with. I
should be a warning.
am Chica.
She's not a moment, she's a whale. She's an ocean.
Calvin Klein.
She said, "I'm a force to be reckoned with." I didn't think she was literal.
She meant at the table. At the dinner table.
She means when she's at a high position.
So, Nick, what do you think about both of those? The white land, when we talked about the white land, what do you think about the ad, the American Eagle ad, and the way that people reacted to that?
American Eagle seems to be like, I think they know what they're doing. They're just messing with people. And the fact that that woman was crying and the other person made that video, that's why they did it. They know what they're doing. I heard it was a Jewish man who thought up of this.
Yeah, I heard he was
Probably.
Jewish.
Exactly.
I guess his company owned by a Jewish guy, right? Or maybe he
American
did the
Eagle?
ad or
Maybe.
something.
It was just a smart guy who knows how to play the people.
Yep. Shout out to the Jews.
Shout out to the Jews. I love the Jews.
Me too. If I love anybody.
Look at him go.
God's people.
You got to be chosen if you can brainwash everybody.
Amazing. And what do you think about it, Derrick?
Man, I like this new approach that they're taking. They did some sort of woke ad before this. I think it was back in 2016 somewhere, around there, but they were promoting a lot of woke ads. So this is a nice new approach.
Are you talking about the black girl ad?
No, that's Calvin Klein. I'm talking about American Eagle. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I like this new approach, but she could put some clothes on. How am I supposed to take her on a date? She's showing off her body like this.
Who?
This is Sydney Sweeny.
She was putting her jeans on.
The club.
Yeah, she's too revealing. I don't like this. This is why I can't date actresses. This is why I can't.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I turn on TV, I see my wife. Oh, no, I can't do this.
His immodest
My wife
wife.
shouldn't be wearing that.
You say hey?
I say, shout out, have fun. That light-skinned black girl who was crying, she was mildly attractive. She didn't need to be worried about anything.
I think it was just an act.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that black girl really felt that way.
Yeah.
I think she was put on an act.
Drama.
But congratulations to the American Eagle for having the gonad to present white, beautiful white again. Quick break. Back in a moment, folks. 7 guaranteed steps to spiritual, family, and financial success guide. Even if you're not starting a business, but you have a job, or you're on welfare, it can help you if you do. Be doers of the word, all right? From rage to responsibility. From rage. That's what I write about in the first chapter, especially how I overcame. Scam. How the black leadership exploits black Americans. They're using them, and blacks are too willing to be used. And then my last book, The Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. They are all amazing books, and they are helpful. Go to rebuildingtheman.com if you want an autographed copy, or call 800-411-2663. Okay, welcome back. Treasure Chest is now open on DLive and Stretch Off on Pure.net. All right, the Treasure Chest open. Couple announcement. The Hake Report is coming up at the top of this hour. TheHakeReport.com from 9 to 11 a.m. And after the Hake Report announcement to come later, we don't know what's going to happen right now. And then brand new episode of the FallenState.tv. I had a fun and an interesting discussion with Steve Lee. And he is a comedian, hip-hop artist, and the host of the Steve B. Weeby Show.
Next time on The Fallen State.
Were you a mama's boy?
How do you know this stuff? He's almost like partially a psychic. He did the Fu Manchu. Oh.
You're like, oh, you want rice?
Oh my God. Can we even put this on YouTube? You're making me sweat, Jesse. I heard legions of demonic voices. Jesus! Everything cleared.
Yeah. Wu-Tang Clan or T-Tribe Called Quest.
100% the Wang Tang Clan.
It was an amazing, fun conversation with some insight as well. But you're going to enjoy this one. Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And you can become a member there on the Fallen State, right there on the YouTube channel. And JessLeePeterson.locals.com. Right, hey? That's right. Oh, amazing. So that ad, the Jean ad with the pretty white woman, it reminds me, and then you know how sexy they made her in the jean. That's what you do with beautiful, thin, beautiful women. You make sexy ads. You can't make no sexy ad with some big old fat black woman or whatever white woman, like that jealous white woman that was talking. You need beautiful women. I remember when flight attendants were so beautiful. Remember beautiful white?
Vaguely.
Flight attendants.
I vaguely remember it.
You don't. You only remember the old ones.
Yeah,
fat
that's right.
ones and old ones.
Fat, short head.
Sometimes we on the plane they have the old fat black women can hardly get up and down the aisle with the tray. Amazing. So white on white people, keep it up, promote your beauty, and she is pretty. And let all the jealous people fight and say what they want. It's time. It's okay to be white. It's okay to be white. Happy White History Month. Amazing. Let me go to Eric out of Colorado. Man, we're going to move call. Eric, you're on the air. Happy White History Month.
Hey, what's up, Jesse?
All is well.
Hey, it's amazing to talk to you again, brother.
Thank you.
Yep. So I had just a follow up from our talk before. I forgave my mother for the anger.
Yes.
And now I have like a little mantra in my head that's your voice that says just let go of the anger. And I've been like feeling great for the last 2 weeks since I last talked to you. So I appreciate that.
Right on. You stay away from anger. Anger is evil. And anger keeps you away from God. You would never be one with God, with peace on earth or in heaven, as long as you have anger. You got to stay away from it.
And it takes a huge weight off your shoulders. Like if you have the urge to feel angry or mad, you just let it go, and then everything becomes peaceful and relaxed.
Absolutely.
And it's been very eye-opening for me. So again, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
And as far as the Sydney Sweeny thing, like, it's insane the way the left is. First of all, the jealousy is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Second of all, they're like, if you like the way this girl looks, you're a Nazi. Like, the logic of the left, every time you think they can't go any further, they double down. And it's gotten so bad now that it's just absolutely ridiculous. And, I mean, like, Cincinnati, for instance, where was the news coverage on that? And then right after that happened, the next night, a bunch of black teenagers just randomly knocked some white guy out in Cincinnati. And it's like nothing. The news just like ignores it. But if it was reversed around, it would be primetime news, trending on Twitter, you know, all that sort of stuff. So it's just really ridiculous what they're doing with this girl's beautiful. And I noticed most of the comments said she had no butt, and I'm like, that's like the most perfect booty you can ever see. Like, what are you talking about?
That's right.
And it's just sad the way that
one thing that I'm really happy about, finally we're seeing glimpses of white people starting to stand up and be white. It's okay to be white. We talked about the white town in Arkansas, and then this ad. It's time for white people to, in their own country, they found it, they discovered and built, and founded and built. It's time for them to start to be white in their country, and don't be afraid to be white. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone else is allowed to unite as a tribe, and no one says anything. But if white people tribe up, suddenly we're Nazis, racist. We hate every other color. Like, it's just the rhetoric from the left is so insane now. I don't think there's any coming back for any of them, to be honest. I think they're so far gone with that lunatic leftism that they're hopeless.
And I'm hoping that white people will just continue to come back to being white, and if the people don't like it, just give them the finger and continue to live your life. The hell with them, and just live your life.
Yeah, exactly. And you can tell that they basically just exist from anger. Like, I think I mentioned before in my other call, I get on my X feed, every other clip is a bunch of like black women fighting at a Walmart, fighting at a Waffle House, fighting at a McDonald's over getting the wrong sauce. And just like, you don't see any other groups behaving that way. You don't see Mexicans acting like that. You don't see whites. You don't see Chinese people. No other group except that one demographic just seems to have zero impulse control.
Yeah, and it's amazing. They won't stop themselves. They just do it. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate it.
All right, hey Jesse, thanks again for that mantra that I got in my head now, and it really kind of changed my life. So you're amazing, my friend.
Stay with it. Stay with us. That you haven't seen anything yet. All right.
All right, excellent, my friend. Good
All right.
talking to you again. You're
You
the
too.
best.
You too, Eric. Thank you. You too. 888-775-3773. Let me go to Thomas out of Arizona. Thomas, you're on the air.
Hey, what's up, Jesse? How you doing?
All is well, Thomas.
All right. Yeah, I was just calling in, man, because I was listening to you about that little about what happened in Ohio, man. I agree with you. These people are so far gone, man. There's no. It's almost like there's no making sense to them, or no coming for them to not come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. What's
And
wrong with the black? The blacks?
Well,
Are they so violent? And how come there's nothing in them to say, you know what, this is evil. I got to stop this. I'm not participating in this anymore. I'm not going to. Why don't they stop?
So you know, I always hear you ask that question, and the only thing I could come up with is what it says in scriptures about God made vessels to honor and to dishonor, right? And sometimes there's, you know, certain people are just meant on earth just to dishonor and disrupt. And so that's the reason why that they don't really, when you try to speak to them about God, they don't really want to hear it because they're not here for that. They're here for something different. You know what I mean?
So you're saying that the blacks were put on earth to dishonor and disrupt?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying who it could be any race that's doing that, but the ones that disobey, the ones that are unruly,
yeah,
right, unruly people, ones that don't respect laws and rules, they're not here for to do God's will. They're here to do the Satan's will. You know what I'm saying? And so, but we all have a choice, and if they don't want to listen, then that's the path that they choose. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's
true.
We can only like you can only preach so much over the airwaves to these people, and if they don't want to listen, excuse me, if they don't want to listen, then you know what can we do?
Yeah.
It says well, one more thing, Jesse, real quick. It also says in the scriptures that you know people it says for being ignorant of God's righteousness, going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted themselves into the righteousness of God. So all these people that feel that measure themselves among themselves, like these people that measure themselves among each other,
yeah,
they're not measuring themselves to how God wants them to measure themselves to His righteousness, and so for that reason they'll always fall short and they'll always be wrong and in the wrong for it.
That's a good point,
I know,
man.
Yeah, and I know that, and I know you read a lot of scripture, but you know, and you could tell, like you were mentioning earlier about all these churches that don't preach against this racism stuff, right? Well, it's because they probably don't preach the truth in their churches. Because if they preach God's truth in their churches, it says that our scripture is here, you know, as an inspiration to God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for righteousness and to correct ourselves in how we're living.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So a lot of those people, a lot of those pastors and those preachers in those churches that don't preach, most of the time they're just there for the tithes and stuff. They're not there to preach the truth, because once they start preaching the truth in their church, those people are going to not want to be there no more, and they're going to want to go to a church that accommodates to their behavior. You know what I mean?
What a mess. You're right about that, but something got to give here, man, because my country will be South Africa very soon if this doesn't stop. And I don't see it stopping. Well, I don't see it stopping. I love the fact that white people start in their own areas. And I love that ad because they're promoting whiteness and they don't care what someone says about it. And they're doing it with style, beauty, and everything. Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem, Jesse. You guys take care.
You too, buddy. Amazing. Let me go quickly to Brady out of Arizona. He's been waiting a while. Brady, you are on the air.
Yeah, right on, Jesse. I was going to say, you were talking about South Africa and the way the world treats the white man, just like what they do. They call him the Boer. They got songs in South Africa that said, kill the Boer, and you have the black people out chanting and singing along with it. And hopefully that doesn't come to this country, just like you saw in Cincinnati with the beatings of the white people again. You got a difference. You got one black man who's so evil, and you got black men like yourself that are so peaceful. There's such a wide discrepancy these days between one black man to the other.
Well, there are now that blacks are, the blacks are starting to hear that they got to forgive their mothers, and what is missing, they're yearning for the father, a return to the father. There are some black men and women who are starting to drop that anger because they realize they've been lied to. It was never white people. It had nothing to do with slavery, but it starts in the home. So we got to continue to put that kind of truth out there, and it's that type of truth which is of God that will make the folks free. But as long as these blacks think that it's somebody else, which is a deception of evil, they're never going to get better. They will only get worse.
You know, one thing I got to ask you, though, this is off the subject, but why do black men find big, fat white women so attractive?
Because their mothers are fat. And they're attracted to what they hate. Amazing. Thank you, Brady. I got to run. I appreciate it. Let me go quickly to Rick out of San Diego, California. Rick, you're on the air.
Good morning.
Hey, Rick.
How are you?
Amazing. All
Great.
is well.
Yeah, my question to you is, I still have fear.
And why do you say that?
Sometimes when I want to do something, I don't do it.
And your question for me is what?
How do I get rid of it?
Give me a quick example of something you wanted to do and you didn't do it because of the fear.
Go somewhere by myself.
Okay, here's what you do, Rick. I'm telling you, fear is not real. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. It's only in your mind, and you feel it in your body where you believe the thought. So the next time you want to go somewhere by yourself, or you want to, let's say you want to go to a movie or a dinner by yourself, you go anyway, and you're going to see that it was just an illusion, that the fear was not even real. And a lot of people allow fear to stop them from functioning because they think that the fear is real. But once they do it, they realize it was just an illusion. It wasn't even real. So do it anyway and see what happens. You'll see that the fear was not real. And once you see that, you start just moving on with your life.
So just do it anyway.
Yeah, shaking in your boots. Go anyway.
So basically do anything, not just go somewhere, but just do something. Like if I want to work on my home.
Yes. Do it anyway, and because it's just in your mind. It's not even real. It's so crazy. If you're serious about this, I want you to know it's crazy that fear only exists in the mind, and it just seems like it's real, but it's just another dark thought, and all thoughts are all lies. So next time, do it anyway and see what happens, all right? You're going to see it's fake. And let me know how it goes.
Thank you.
All right, let me know. But just do it anyway, shaking in your boots.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. 888-775-3773. Super chat. Super.
Over on YouTube, Galaxy Tiberius says, such and such types of girls love JLP and Hake. Happy White History Month.
Thank you. Happy White History Month. Amazing.
Thank you. Mike Youngs, thank you for your question for Bill Lockwood. Shout out.
Shout out to Mike.
on Trump's second term. Check that in the first hour. Or
Check out Bill Lockwood. He was in the
Second
second hour today. Oh, my God. Bill Lockwood. He's here the last of every month.
Galaxy Tiberius says, I want to have Hake's babies. Love you, Hake. Smiley animal heart. Nice. Protect our
You want to
whites.
make babies?
Not necessarily, but maybe.
You don't want children?
Maybe. I don't know. Protect our whites. Stand
you
up,
so
great
old,
white
we
Bill.
You're going to know.
You're interrupting the super chat. We got to stay on topic.
Okay, what were you saying?
Protect our whites. Pastel flag emoji hearts. Stand up, great white Bill, says Galaxy Tiberius.
That's right. Bill Lockwood is not afraid. Believe me. Amazing. And he white.
And thank you, Commander Kim. We read your super chat to Bill Lockwood.
Thank you.
Over there on Rumble.
Yeah.
Calvin from Ohio clearing it up. I seen the whole video. Drunk white antagonized a black man in his group. Then he slapped the black man and he got jumped. The woman tried to break it up. A random light-skinned man sucker punched her. If you watch the rest of the video before the news cut it off, it was black and white people helping the woman up. I don't mind accountability for the black people, but chastise the white men as well, says Calvin in Ohio.
There is no justification for all those black people jumping up those two people. I don't care what happened. If there was a fight between one white man and one black man, it was between those two and those two only. There is no justification for what those blacks have done or allegedly done to those two white people. That's pure evil. So I don't know if you're trying to justify it or what, but there's no excuse for that, except that those people are evil. Amazing. Thank you, though.
5 coffees from Eric. Thank you, Calvin, as always. You find yourself alone, Eric says. You lose yourself in a crowd. You can't follow God. If you follow the crowd, evil people can't stand alone. They have to build an army. JLP.
Amazing. Thank you.
Someone bought a coffee. Howdy, y'all. Have a heavenly blessed day. Nice.
Thank you. You too. Amazing.
We got to talk the walk. 5 coffees. Thank you for sharing the truth and pointing the way back to the Father, Jesse and crew. 2 thumbs up. 100 American flag.
Stay with it. Stay with it. Stay with it.
5 coffees from Eric. What's wrong with the blacks? They identify as a group.
What's wrong with the blacks? That's for sure. They definitely identify with their blackness. And they have no idea about God. Well, they have an idea. They heard about God, but they don't know God at all. But they know they're black. Amazing.
Charles, hey, Jesse, hate to break it to you, but in your day, blacks would have been the same way if they are today, if not for tough policing back then. Left to their own devices, most blacks aren't built for civility. I'm a black guy myself, so I know, says Charles.
But we ain't had no tough police back then.
Yeah, maybe you're thinking about the cities where it was more degenerate and messed up families. Anyway.
But when I was down in Alabama,
there was crime, though. But
yeah,
not to this extent.
It wasn't like this at all.
Yeah. There was a story. I'm interrupted, but there was a story where teenage elephants were in a thing, and they kept on killing these random animals. And they introduced some grandpa elephants, older elephants, and the killing stopped.
Amazing. Nice.
DD54, 3 coffees. Good morning, JLP and crew. Happy White History Month. Hey, Jesse, I have trouble in doing your weekend assignment. Be nothing 3 days? Yeah. I didn't know how to be nothing. I tried to be nothing, but the thoughts kept giving me ideas on what being nothing is. So, Jesse, how do you become nothing? Thanks for what you do.
So the assignment was last week, I said, okay, this past Friday, I asked to encourage the people for 3 days, be nobody, be nothing, or nobody. And the way you be nobody, stop thinking. Because you're just a bucket of ideas. False images of self. Stop thinking and be nothing or nobody. Let me know what happens, all right? Thank you.
Thank you. DD54, Galaxy Tiberius, another one. Rights don't exist. Happy White History Month.
Happy White History Month. Amazing.
C-Sal says, ¿Cómo televú? Sí, señor, sí.
¿Cómo televú?
And she spells it in Spanish phonetically. Eric Harlan, 10 Coffee's travel jobs are the worst for young women because they are followers and easily influenced. No man ever said, I wish my wife had traveled the world before I met her. Women live by the slogan, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Young women need to prioritize preserving virtue or society falls into degeneracy, the fallen state.
I think the primary reason, too, is so dangerous for women. We got so many foreign people in these European countries, and they have crazy ideas about things.
Yeah.
They love attacking the white woman. I remember when they was doing it in Europe real bad. I got to stop there.
We'll read the rest later, guys. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Amazing. Brad from Idaho. Real fast, Brad.
Happy White History, Jesse. Really appreciate getting to meet you, man. It's trying to spread the word up here in Idaho, and it's amazing how many white people don't realize how white they are in Idaho.
Amazing. Thank you, Brad. And happy White History Month to you. Amazing.
Thank you, Jesse.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Super chat.
Super chat. TTT. Jesse, look up Akon City. It's a black town in Senegal, and it was like hardly built. Built by this singer, rapper guy, Akon.
It's a con city?
A-K-O-N.
Oh, that's the name of her.
Fashioned after Wakanda, but it didn't go far. Elijah with a diamond. If you love the Jews, you love evil, he says.
And if you don't love the Jews, you are evil. Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, as always, Elijah. Dominic bought a coffee.
Because if you don't love one, you love none. If you don't love all, you love none. You got to love all or you love nobody. Thank you, though.
Dominic, no message. Thank you, Dominic, for your coffee.
Thank you, Dominic.
And shout out to Elijah, Games for Rec, Groovy Monkey, and the rest of those supporters over there on the D-Live crew.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I do believe that may be all for now.
Amazing. Thank you all so much. Look, get on that straight and narrow. Know thyself. At least you can do that for yourself, to know yourself so you can have life and not death. Anyone that has anger, anyone that has resentment is evil in your life. You die. You're dead. You're asleep and don't know it. Do the silent prayer, rebuildingaman.com/prayer. Go and forgive your mama or your grandmama, whomever raised you, and your daddy for not protecting you from them. All right? And you will have life. I promise you that. Really. Baba Thumper Thursday tomorrow. Hate is coming up now. The Hate Report. Have a good report. And thank you for your super chat, your donation with our fundraiser drive, rebuildingaman.com. rebuildingaman.com/donate. Thank you all so much, and bye.
The views, information, thoughts, and opinions expressed during this show are the individual's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of the JLP Network or Bond. Their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. The material and information presented here is for general information purposes only. The JLP Network and Bond name and all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owner, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service.
I have books that are amazing. I highly recommend you get them. 7 Guaranteed Steps to Spiritual, Family, and Financial Success Guide. Even if you're not starting a business, but you have a job, or you're on welfare, it can help you if you do. Be doers of the word, all right? From rage to responsibility. From rage. That's what I write about in the first chapter, especially how I overcame scam. How the black leadership exploits black Americans. They are using them, and blacks are too willing to be used. And then my last book, The Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. They are all amazing books, and they are helpful. Go to rebuildingtheman.com if you want an autographed copy, or call 800-411-2